Hello everyone. Welcome. Now, today we are doing something different. I was originally planned to be playing Valorant for tonight, but there was an update and there is a particular video that caught my attention, which is a deep dive into the bloodiest Genshin creator drama ever. Asian guy stream versus Tectone, created by the content creator Mujin. So, as you might have known, I played Genshin Impact probably a few years ago, or maybe a year ago. I was really into it, and as a Genshin player, I don't want to ignore this, and I want to learn about what is happening back in the community. So today I've decided, well, by judging from the length of the video, it's 2 hours and 30 minutes. It's enough for the entire stream, so I decided to react to it, watch it, and maybe have a few people will come up to the stream and discuss it with me. All right, without further ado, let's watch the video and try to understand this bloodiest Genshin creator drama, what is going on here. Hopefully, this stream or this entire video is not going to get copyright striked. Fingers crossed. I'm a small content creator. No one watches my stream. All right.
On June 8th, 2024, this tweet by Asian Guy Stream, otherwise known as Atsu, was posted.
Okay.
I'm quitting. I lost absolutely everything. My marriage, my career.
My
will to live. Keeping these secrets to protect others has felt so lonely. I don't want to live like this anymore.
So something truly terrible has happened to him. I can't imagine.
Linking a Google Doc, 34 pages long.
34 pages.
At the time of recording, has 20 million.
20 millions? 25 millions now.
How the hell did a drama that originated in the Genshin community
That's a lot.
3 years ago end up with 20 million views on Twitter? Something that can rival tweets made during the Kendrick and Drake beef.
Okay.
That took over the world overnight. If you scroll down, there are many content creators, big and small, from other niches and from this niche, all commenting on this.
Okay.
Their communities forward here as well.
Okay.
The truth of the matter is, millions of people who saw this document have no idea what's happening.
I'm one of them.
Few content creators commenting on this post can grasp the insane depth and context needed to really fully understand what led to this. This post carries behind it 3 years worth of context.
3 years worth of content.
It happened.
So this is nothing new. It started 3 years ago.
And second off, the ability to talk about extremely niche topics.
Yeah.
Just about anyone. In all my videos, whether
this is a niche topics
or Genshin, someone who has never heard about these things can watch them, fully understand and grasp the situation, and laugh about how ridiculous it is. Now, unfortunately, in this case, there is no laughing, because the main people involved at different periods of this drama tried to off themselves.
Oh, really?
This drama does involve the second point of what my channel is.
Damn.
Explaining to someone what this is.
Alright, I'm ready.
There are people part of the Genshin community. There are people who know who Atsu is, who know who Tectone is, who's also involved in this, who also have no clue what's happening.
Tectone.
So the main question
and
is,
Atsu.
how can you make a video about something with 3 years worth of context and explain it to someone that has no idea what started this and who any of these people are?
This is going to be a movie / documentary.
Even though some might see it as an impossible task.
Okay.
Idea, Tectone's video just about this document was 3 hours long.
3 hours.
But I'll do something I don't
okay.
do. I usually give
By the way, this video came out like 4 hours ago from my time.
And utterly neutral. Listen, I have no interest in taking any sides in this. It's a very nasty situation. What I truly want is to explain it to the millions of people who have no clue what it's about and have them make up their own opinion. That way they can move on from this. That way we can all collectively move on from this.
Okay.
I don't think it benefits anyone to stay talking about it for years to come. Before I begin though, I want to make a disclaimer. The first one is this. As I mentioned, I want you to move on from this after understanding it and making up your own opinion. Please don't go harass anyone after making up your own opinion. It'll only drag this out further.
Okay.
The second point is this. There are a few people who were concerned about me making a video about this because they don't want me to be the final nail in the coffin to make Atsu, who had already tried to take his life 3 times as referenced in his document,
3 times.
actually end up doing it successfully. I assure you, this is not my intention at all here. As I said, I'm being neutral. Also, since no one bothered reading the document, I might as well say it here. On page 16, Atsu says that he's doing way better.
Okay, he's
Asks
doing
everyone
better
not to
now.
worry, he won't be making another
After
attempt.
trying to off
Alright, so
him
moving
3
forward,
times
my role
before.
here, or at least the role I want to have, is just someone who will explain to you what's going on. Nothing more, nothing less. So let's do this. First, I'm going to give you foundational context.
Damn, table of contents.
Different mentality, different mindset.
This is like a paper, a scientific paper.
In the most immersive way possible. Then this drama is split into 3 phases.
Three
1,
phases.
Phase 3 will go by each and every one. And in the middle of every single one, we'll take a little breather.
The second and third phase are both in
At the
2024.
end, there's a small conclusion, and after that conclusion, I'll explain.
Damn, this is a 5-chapter video.
Don't worry, it's just a very small, irrelevant paragraph, and I'll give my response. That's pretty much how it'll go. Also, this video is not sponsored, so if you leave a like, I'll really appreciate it.
Yeah, guys, go leave a like. Support this guy.
To really understand what's going on, we need to go back to the absolute roots of everything, and that's the release of Genshin Impact on September 28th, 2020. In the midst of the COVID-19 pandemic, arguably during...
Now, just to give a little bit of context for myself, I did try out Genshin Impact when it launched, but I was not very interested. But I picked the game back up thanks to one of my friend. I think I picked the game up back when Inazuma came out, or after Inazuma came out, because I was thinking to myself, I really like Raiden Shogun's design, I really want her, so that must have been the time I picked it up.
The worst time, where everyone was confined and no one was going out.
So it came out during the COVID. I don't remember this. I did not remember this. Wow. I guess thanks to COVID, Genshin Impact become really big, or a lot of games actually become big.
This inflated player count also resulted in a ridiculous,
16 millions.
I'm going to give you an example of the 2 main people involved in this drama, both
Damn.
Tectone and Asian Guy Stream, who I'm going to refer to as Atsu from now on.
Atsu.
Tectone has 820,000 subscribers. He's been doing this for a while, but even to this day,
I have seen this guy before.
Videos, look, these are in the millions. We're all during Genshin's heyday, 3 to 2 years ago, during its peak.
Yeah.
Not a single video today can ever compare.
All of them are Genshin videos.
Inflation. Atsu falls in that same category, all right? His most viewed video at 2.5 million views is literally him just spending
Porting for Hotel?
$50,000 on a character. That's just how insane this was, right? You had people who were playing a gacha game for the first time ever thinking there's no way you could spend that much money on a game. You could make a video where you spent $100 on a character and you'll get way more views than you could ever imagine. It was that crazy. And this is what made their careers. Both Atsu and Tectone were making content way before Genshin.
Now, just drawing back to the parallel, I do remember a lot of when Pokemon Go came out, there are a lot of Pokemon YouTubers that, thanks to the popularity of a game, they gained a lot of attraction over the social media and over their channels. So this does remind me of Pokemon Go here.
But this was their big break. It made so many careers at the time.
Yeah.
In 2021, the game was still fresh.
2021?
Many of these up-and-coming content creators to collab together. For
Okay.
example, this is a game show where Tectone is with many big content creators participating with him. But all these collaborations, while they helped everyone...
Let me go back a second. What was the question? Does every character have a passive skill? I do not remember. I think everyone has.
Creators
right?
Participating with him. But
maybe
all
not.
these collaborations, while they helped everyone grow, also started to create some misunderstandings, and the first aspects of drama started forming.
Okay.
Whether it be disagreements about guides or the fact that chests respawn.
Chests respawns.
Competition at the time. And the worst side of this was on Twitch.
Twitch.
Let me give you an idea of the numbers going on back then on Twitch, because I gave you a number on YouTube. Tectone's peak viewership because of Genshin was around 62,000 people.
62,000.
XQC was the biggest streamer on the platform. This was higher than XQC's average.
Oh, wow.
Content creators were getting hundreds of thousands and sometimes millions of views on YouTube while getting thousands of viewers on Twitch. Everyone was blowing up from every direction.
I see.
Competitiveness was very high.
Competitiveness.
Lived with 2 roommates. Goosegg, who
Goose
was
Egg?
a Genshin content creator at the time, and his wife at the time, Frame. His content revolved
Wife.
around spending money on the game, reviewing accounts, and farming drama with randoms on Twitter with takes he found crazy in relation to Genshin Impact. He
Okay.
also had this thing where he teased free-to-play players, thinking that they really had nothing to do in the game other than just
Oh, really? Did he do that?
pick mint,
Pick
which is the
mint.
most common plant you find in Genshin. You'll find it just walking around. This
I mean, maybe that is true during the launch, but it's definitely not true after they have released like a 2, 3 regions or chapters. But I can definitely imagine if you cleared up the story when it came out with chapter 1 or chapter 2, you literally have nothing to do because the map is fairly small with well, I forgot her name. Tavart, was it? With the first area and the second area.
caused one of the first major dramas between him and another content creator by the name of Enviosity, who was adamant on staying free to
Enviosity.
play. They squashed the beef fairly quickly, and both agreed that it was exaggerated, partly because people were trying to ignite drama, hopping in both of their chats, trying to steer things up. And this is
Okay.
where things start to shift. Around mid to end of 2021, the content in Genshin was starting to get stale and people were
Oh,
running out of things to do.
running out of things to do.
Genshin Impact's developer was having a very hard time keeping up with the
They are
insane
getting
amount of
overwhelmed. They didn't expect the
After
game to
the
become this
Enviosity and
popular.
Tectone drama, things somewhat calmed down. There
Okay.
wasn't anything drastic until one thing in particular happened.
What is it?
And that was the release of a Genshin Impact character by the name of
Yunjin?
Yunjin. This
Yunjin.
is a character that was made by Genshin Impact's developer, and she was very purposefully made to show off Chinese culture.
Why
From
her?
her outfit to the songs she sings. She sang Chinese opera.
Chinese opera?
There have been many.
Oh, he commented something negative about it.
Before, right? And usually, when you watch one in English, you expect English. When you watch one in Japanese, you expect Japanese. But here, since they really wanted to show you their culture, Genshin Impact insisted on including her singing traditional Chinese opera.
Okay.
Which many people weren't expecting.
Ah.
Tectone's reaction to it when he first saw
Ooh,
it
his
on
raw
Twitch.
reaction triggered a lot of people. Ooh, I see.
Made people both on Twitter and TikTok
Some people
start
didn't take it
calling him
very
racist
well.
and not respectful to Chinese culture. This prompted him to make a video on his YouTube channel.
He made a video on
addressing
this?
those clips, drama warning, where he sat down with his roommate Goose and his then wife Frame to talk about the TikToks made about
His
him,
wife,
to talk about
Frame.
those clips in particular, and to also make fun of some things he was being called, like xenophobic, which
Xenophobic.
means racist against Chinese culture in particular. To
Wow.
which he says it's not true. But why was this such a big deal to be?
Yeah, why is it a big deal?
Well, because Yunjin's singing actually became a global sensation. It was huge in China, and it was actually surprisingly.
I remember
popular in the
this,
West.
despite the fact I was
There
not playing it but
news
during
in
that
China,
time.
right? About how viral this song went, about how successful Yunjin was as a character. So, of course, Tectone got into trouble for that on Twitter and
Oof,
TikTok.
he got
Look,
trouble.
overall, this was a culture shock. For
Yeah, I
many
know.
Westerners.
I fully
It was
understand.
the first time hearing something
The first time I heard it was very,
Genshin content creator at the time called
I had a
Chaos
wild
God
reaction or
completely
kind of
caught
a.
off guard by her singing.
That was my face when I listened to her singing. I would raise the hell off my eyebrows.
What the? Oh yes! Hell yes! Do that in my ear.
I mean, to me, it's not different from listening to any other languages opera singing. And to me, it's kind of weird as well in comparison to the modern way of singing a song.
So as you can see, completely caught off guard, but tried his best to recover it by the
Oh
end.
yeah, this guy recovered very well.
Everything was always on another level. I mean, there was a Kotaku article talking about the controversy surrounding her singing, and Tectone
Okay.
was used as the prime example for the negative
Ooh,
reactions. All
he's
this
getting
showed
all
that
of the
this
blame.
controversy
I
built up this
see.
foundation,
He's too big.
shaky, dangerous foundation that will serve as ground zero for Tectone's biggest drama of his career.
Ooh.
Phase 1.
Phase 1.
Atsu steps in the room.
Okay, yeah. Whereas Atsu has to do anything with this.
Congratulations on making it through the context.
Yes, I
We're
made it
about to
through.
get to phase 1, and this is when you'll start to have to make your own decisions.
Oh, wow.
Whenever something major happens, and when applicable, I'll be giving you the perspective and points of view of the people involved.
Okay.
Bear in mind, these aren't things we knew at the time necessarily, but we might have discovered them in later phases of this drama when that person maybe clarified something.
Okay.
So in phase 1, if I tell you this was Tectone's perspective during this event, we probably didn't know that until phase 3 when he had talked about it more in depth. Right?
Okay.
This is to give you all the tools you need to make up your own opinions.
Wow.
Because the decisions you'll have to make, man, I would not want to be in your shoes right now.
Okay.
Anyway, let's get right into it.
Let's hear it.
7th, 2022, shortly after all this controversy with Yunjin had happened,
Okay.
Atsu, on his alt account, and if you don't know what that is, it's an account that content creators will make that is separate.
So 2 years after the Genshin Impact launched, and probably what was the name of the second Liyue? Liyue came out, and the Chinese opera singing character Yunjin came out. This happens.
From their main account,
So he has an alt account.
And vent about certain things that they feel like they can't do on their main.
Okay.
Atsu will tweet multiple subtweets on this account. A subtweet's pretty much vaguely referencing someone negatively without saying who that is.
Okay.
The first tweet is this.
What is it?
There's a lot of creators that come across as genuinely nice people on stream/video, but are actually like parasites behind the scenes. If you bend to their will, they'll make a big deal out of it publicly or drag your name through the mud behind your back to other creators.
Oh.
The second tweet was, there are many creators in the Genshin circle and wider connected circles I'd like to befriend or get to know better, but they're already in so deep with many people who are awful people off stream, and it makes me skeptical if they're just naive or also awful behind the scenes.
So let me get this straight. He was saying there are other people he wants to be friend with, but he think their friend, that person's friend is not so nice off stream, off camera, so he kind of doubted if he still wanted to be friends with those people. Huh. Okay.
And the final subtweet out of the 3 is, I feel very bad when I can see someone is trying to make an effort, but I cannot get a clear judgment of their character, so I just keep them at arm's length to avoid risk of getting mixed in with people who have ill intentions or are just horrible to talk to behind the scenes.
Okay, I mean, these 3 tweets can be interpreted in many different ways, but I think what he says is fair. I mean, if you kind of are skeptical about becoming friends with somebody, then don't do it. Just keep it at a safe distance.
Now, why are these subtweets such a big deal?
Yeah,
To
why?
understand that, we have to talk about who Atsu is.
Who is he?
Atsu
Yes.
has been making content for a long time. By the time Genshin came out, he had already been making content for a while, like Tectone.
Okay.
When Genshin content creators were still up and coming, he found a group of friends, and they happened to be some of the biggest in the entire space. In fact, in terms of sub count and during Genshin's heyday, they were way bigger than Tectone combined.
Wow.
Of course, talking about Dish,
Tuwanto,
Anthony Chen, with
Anthony
Tuwanto
Chen.
being the biggest Genshin Impact channel.
Tuwanto?
It wasn't just limited to these 3 people, but they were the biggest.
Okay.
And everyone in that circle would refer to him as the grandpa, as the mature guy, as the guy who always organizes things,
Really?
always gets things done.
He's the
They
grandpa.
showed massive respect to him on stream, and they always collabed with him. So Atsu in the Genshin Impact community was seen like this smart, mature grandfather.
Okay.
This role meant that he was wise, and that he was guiding these content creators who were in their early 20s, sometimes 18, 19, fresh out of high school, and giving them proper advice.
Okay.
So him making 3 subtweets like this held so much weight in the Genshin Impact community
Okay.
because of where he stood. This caused Goose
Is that so? That kind of made people speculating who exactly he was referring to?
Egg, who was Tectone's roommate at the time, to make this video called "These Type of People Are Ruining Genshin."
Oh.
Now look, this video is 16 minutes long. As a content creator, I have 2 choices here. I can either watch this entire thing with you, or I can sum it up. For the sake
All
of this
right,
video
please sum it up.
6 hours, I will sum it up to you to the best of my ability and give you the main points. You can always watch this by yourself because it's on his channel. I'm just going to give you...
Oh my
a
god,
choice.
that's another
And this
watch
video
I have to
comes
do,
off
isn't
as
it?
angry, aggressive, and pretty much goes into Atsu's subtweets directly. The first 3 minutes are him talking about the subtweets Atsu made on his alt account, and how
Okay.
they're very similar to something you'd find in petty high school drama.
Okay.
If you have a problem with someone, let them know directly. There's no need to do stuff like this. He even went out of his way to reply to the subtweet and said,
Like who?
because from Goose's perspective, Atsu was directly talking about him and Tectone. This is what
Oh,
happened for the first 3.5 minutes of the video. This
okay.
video is 16 minutes. He then goes on for the
Well, I mean, how do you know for sure if he actually didn't never mention about any names? I mean, I guess if I was in the situation in whatever this guy is, goose egg. If I was a goose egg, I would not be very sure if he's really talking about you or not, right? And I wouldn't be even, be publicly bold enough to ask him on the tweet to say like who.
directly talking about him and Tectone. This is what happened for the first 3.5 minutes of the video. This video
Okay.
is 16 minutes. He then goes on for the rest of the video complaining about certain things on Twitter and TikTok, taking examples of comments made towards him and Tectone about how they're racist, about how they don't respect cultures because
Okay.
they disliked Yoonjin's song. So, from a very neutral point of view, right? I do recommend you watch the video by yourself, but from a very neutral point of view, this video is a mess. It's on tangents and it's him rambling. It wasn't very well prepared, and you can tell that he's emotional and that the
Yeah, I can tell if it's like a short, unprepared, and it's quite emotional. And he personally felt attacked by Atsu, despite the fact Atsu never mentioned about anything, about the names.
comments are getting to him. It wasn't handled in the best way, unfortunately, and you can tell that by the dislike ratio.
Wow.
And the comments are just out here roasting him. For example, look at this. Listen,
Ouch.
I like both you and Techie, but why was this a video to begin with, bro? There was no reason to make a fuss about a subtweet. If it really bothered you, you should have reached out to the creator in DMs and called them out there. Now, this is really interesting to me because I know for a fact that if today I were to subtweet someone, I don't think anyone would side with me. In fact, I've already spoken about Vtuber dramas where someone subtweets someone else, and even though that person's very popular, everyone can agree that subtweeting is extremely immature. But there's something you have to
Immature?
understand here. The Genshin community is not a community you're used to. This was very different. Even though Atsu was subtweeting, this was not seen as immature. This was not enough of a reason for people to turn on him. Goose Egg, unfortunately for him, heavily misjudged the situation, thinking that because a subtweet is naturally immature, people are going to naturally side with me.
Huh.
That clearly was not the case.
Okay.
He was going up against the content creator who at the time was seen as mature and wise. This video lacked preparation and went on too many tangents with him being too emotional while talking, and it didn't reflect well on him.
So Goose Egg seems like in the general public's eyes, he is the bad one here.
Regardless, Goose Egg's video was the catalyst to the phase 1 of this drama.
Okay,
Very
phase
shortly
1.
After the video was published, Atsu went live on Twitch to react to it. According to him, he spent 2.5 hours of his stream reacting to this video and talking about it.
Okay.
The VOD itself is lost to time, of course.
Oh, damn
VODs
it.
on Twitch don't stay there permanently, and I couldn't really find anything on YouTube either. But Goose Egg did preserve a couple of clips, and these clips are very important in the grand scheme of things.
Okay.
Watch.
Goose is just your little fucking minion. He's your yes man. Nobody gives a shit about Goose. He's just the discount version of you.
Ooh.
It's so ironic because Goose's whole career is just built off leeching off Tectone.
Ooh.
And he's just there nodding. And it's like, are you not embarrassed for yourself? Are you just not embarrassed? How are you insulting someone else's numbers when yours is born from leeching off this guy?
So it's important to note.
Okay, there is no reason for him to attack, Goose Eggs. I think in this situation, a much more matured response would be say, okay, just say okay.
Here that up until this point, Tectone had no idea any of this was happening.
Wow.
Goose Egg had published the first video independently by himself.
Mm.
But when Atsu reacted to it, he made it seem like it was as much about Tectone as it is about Goose Egg.
Yeah, Atsu was directing like these kind of he's redirecting this negativities towards Tectones. He's almost blaming like I think in his head he is almost saying Goose Egg is a minion or an employee or somebody who's working under Tectone. The only drama I know from Genshin is the time the girl stolen 25 to 30k to whale in the game who was in her mid-20s from Canada And the time that Genshin was given away hacked accounts. Really? I never heard that before. I mean, this is the Genshin Impact content creator drama. I mean, there are many other dramas within Genshin Impact, but apparently this one is the biggest. I'm here just trying to learn it. Also, hello, only LeBlanc Coffee. Welcome. Welcome to me reacting to someone else's video.
With those two clips you just watched. Tectone then went live in a VOD that no longer exists, of course, where he exposed every single message that was ever sent between him and Atsu.
Wow. Wait a minute. Tecton exposed their Discord message? Their like one-to-one private DMs. Damn. That's not a move I wanted to do. Oh, I see. I don't know the content creator drama. A late hi, and hope you're having a great day. Thank you very much. I hope the same. Let me have a read. I can't do the video on 21st. I think I'm okay any other day. Alright, huge. We will do it tomorrow. Okay, what time? I don't know. I will find you. KW. Where did you hear that I said Chester respawn? Is that something I said? Do you remember where? I wonder where I have would said that to give you that impression because I've never thought that. No, I was being sarcastic. Oh, a dude in your comments said I was on record saying that. Monka S. My god. The girl was part of a fanzine and stolen the money for the magazine, apparently to spend it on Genshin. Oh, Jesus. Besides you, I don't watch anyone else that knows Genshin, mostly FF14. Ah, FF14. Wait, FF14 is the MMO. I played the FF14 very briefly. I just couldn't continue with it because I find it kind of boring. Maybe I have stopped at the part when, you know, it gets good, or before when it's getting good. I don't know about it. And also, I was playing on the PlayStation 5. When I was trying to be a healer, I can say I was not enjoying myself playing as a healer using a controller. Maybe the mouse and keyboard is just going to change my opinion.
Every single message that was ever sent between him and Atsu. And on January 22nd, 3 days after Goose Egg's initial video that kind of served as a catalyst to all this, Atsu made this video called Goose Egg and Tectone Drama.
Oh.
And on that same day, Tectone released a video called No More Drama. This is the end.
The contrast.
Their statements on the same day.
The contrast.
Same situation. This video is 26 minutes. We can either watch the whole thing or I can sum it up.
Damn, 26 minutes. Alright, sum it up for me.
I'll leave a link to all the videos in the description. Atsu starts off by saying they had completely lost hope when it came to Tectone, but he recently regained it once he saw Mtashed, another Genshin content creator's intervention when he spoke to Tectone on stream.
Okay.
He then argues that Goose is hypocritical because his friend Tectone also subtweeted frequently, and he gives examples. This issue, therefore, I will not seek to solve it, even though I have the power to do so. Some content creator on Twitter.
So Atsu is talking about Goose being double standard. He ignores his friends' Tectone's was that subtweets, but kind of felt personally emotional attacked towards Atsu's subtweet.
Supporting privately is more so insulting when you had the chance to do something about it and correct it publicly. And fake disingenuous, overly positive Genshin Impact tweet to farm Twitter likes from delusional minors on the shitty platform. This is quote tweeting Tenha, another content creator, saying, "Reason why I'm taking a break on Twitch stream." Tectone says, "Yeah, I can imagine it probably feels really shitty getting bodied on analytics from mint collecting streams and the chosen ones cherry-picked by MiHoYo to get free money." So this goes to show that both Tectone and Atsu participated in the subtweeting culture. Atsu reveals that him and Tectone had this private agreement to never mention each other on their respective streams anymore.
Okay.
Atsu argues that Tectone broke that promise by reacting to Goose's video live on stream, which to him felt like, okay, he could start talking about him again. All right. So, remember how I said
Okay.
Tectone read every single line of his DMs with Atsu live on stream? You're
Okay.
probably wondering what prompted that.
Yeah.
This is where the idea of perspective is extremely important.
Okay.
And this is where you,
Perspective.
as a viewer, have to make a choice. You have to make a decision here. I'm going to let Atsu explain his perspective a little bit, and then I'm going
Okay.
to talk about Tectone's perspective.
Okay.
And then you'll have to make up your mind. Was someone in the right
Oh
here?
my god, I'm
Did they both
nervous.
wrong, maybe? Completely up to you. Watch.
The next lie, which is the biggest one, and also what I want to believe. I want to believe this just came from an extremely, extremely unfortunate misunderstanding and a lack of comprehension on behalf of Goosegg. Because as I mentioned earlier, Tectone was in the mall shopping for like Pokemon cards. He came back and he had to be filled in on what was happening via Goosegg. Now, Goosegg, his comprehension was very poor. Maybe not permanently, but on the day, at least for this. And I broke this down in my second VOD, how bad his comprehension of what I was saying was. He did not understand why I was mentioning DMs. The reason why I mentioned DMs and whether Tectone would want to show the DMs or not, I didn't force him to mention DMs. I said if Tectone wants to show the DMs, he can. And the reason why I was talking about DMs is because I wanted to emphasize that I tried to talk to him in private. I tried to talk to him in public and private, and I failed. I failed miserably. And we'll talk about the DMs and the actual context of the DMs in a moment, but I
Okay.
failed. Because people were like, why don't you just resolve this privately? Why
Mm-hmm.
don't you take this to the DMs? I tried. I failed. And that's why, if Tectone wanted to show them, he could show them. And the reason why I said Tectone can show them if he wants to, because I know there was private stuff in there. I know there was personal stuff in there. And that's why, if he wants to show them, he can show them. Goose did not relay that information to Tectone.
Oh.
Tectone came back and asked, is Atsu going to threaten to leak DMs? Because I have them as well. And Goose is like, yes. That's all.
Okay.
Say anything other than that, and that set Tectone off. And he went to the DMs, and he ended up doing a
Dan, I feel like I'm a kind of like a judge now, the head of the judge. And right now, I'm listening to Atsu's defense. He was saying, okay, Tecton, like there is a middleman, which is Goose, and Goose did not relay his message or deliver his message very clearly to Atsu and in a very negative way. So Goose is a bad translator, isn't it? From Atsu's perspective.
Whole stream showing literally from start to finish our DMs. So much chatter in there as well, which just showed how close we were as friends as well in those DMs. And Tectone says that himself as well, and I agree with that. And again, I'll talk about the context in a moment, but this lie that I supposedly forced Tectone to show them, first of all, doesn't make any sense. Because if I had any malicious intention with the DMs, rather than to back up my point of I was trying to talk to him in private, why would I have not just shown the DMs? Why would I have said, oh, I'm going to leak the DMs, here you go, here's plenty of time for you guys to decide whether or not you want to leak it? I would have just shown the DMs myself. It doesn't make any sense. And this is why it's so frustrating, because the logic with all this drama seems to have just gone out of the window. So that is unfortunately the next big lie, and it's one of the biggest ones, and it's very...
So Atsu brought this publicly, right? He was talking about his issues with Tectone publicly. He wanted to tell everyone that, yes, I did try to resolve things in private. I did try to be the bigger man here.
Okay.
I unfortunately failed. But the thing is, due to his subtweets, he also was kind of insinuating that Tectone was talking content creators behind their back in the DMs. Now, there are some very sensitive things in these DMs
Okay.
that Tectone had mentioned.
Oh.
For context, Atsu clarifies this here now, but by this time, Tectone had already leaked his DMs.
The next lie that was told was regarding the two-facedness and talking of other content creators from Tectone. Now, I made the statement that one of the things that really turned me off from Tectone was that he would talk people and he would be two-faced. So he would talk behind their backs, content creators, and then play nice in public. And he did this with a lot of content creators. And I don't want to name any names, but I will have to name one for context's sake, because I specifically specified the example of Tenha.
Tenha?
Talk Tenha and say he was creepy, and that Tenha would weird him out because Tenha was way too attached to Tectone, and Tectone didn't like that and didn't like him. They might be friends now, but the reality, at the very least coming from my mouth, is that's what happened. Now, there was no way for me to verify this. There was no way for me to put this other than a he said, she said situation, because all of this was done in the voice calls.
Voice calls.
Atsu had admitted that he
Okay.
had no proof that Tectone was shit-talking people behind their back.
That's terrible, isn't it? So he's making some claims, and I'm sure there are some level or degrees of truth of what he was talking about between Tenha and Tectone, but the worst thing about this is he has no proof, no physical evidence, no voice recording, video clips at all. So he's making a little bit one-sided claim. So I guess we have to wait until Tectone's perspective. Let's see what he says.
That it happened in a voice call, that it was a he said, she said situation.
Yeah, he says, she says situation.
Only clarified now. not around the time Tectone showed the DMs. So here are the two perspectives. Are you ready? On
Uh,
one hand, you have Atsu,
I'm
who
ready.
genuinely thinks he's doing the right thing here by saying that I tried my best to talk to him in private, but it didn't work.
Uh-huh.
I would love to show you the DMs, but I'm not going to because I don't want to impede on Tectone's privacy since he admitted to me and confided in me some very serious things. Now, on the other hand, Tectone's perspective is that he has been absolutely cornered.
Oh, okay.
This was because Goosegg explained it badly.
Yes, sure.
Tectone, from his perspective,
Okay.
Goosegg didn't explain anything badly.
Oh, really?
Tectone felt himself cornered after seeing exactly what Atsu had said. Why? From his point of view, he felt like Atsu trapped him by saying, oh, he can show the DMs if he wants. Because if he doesn't show them, this is him, in his mind, admitting to his audience that he's wrong. Because then his audience is going to be like, well, listen, dude, if you truly didn't talk shit behind creators' backs, then show us, right? Like, what are you going to lose if you do? Unless you're hiding something, unless you're guilty. Tectone felt like Atsu was actually manipulating everyone and forcing him to be the one to show DMs.
Oh, okay. That's another way of interpreting Atsu's video. Yeah. In Tecton's situation, or in his perspective, if he don't show the DMs, his viewers or other people are going to become suspicious that he is really shit talking in the private, because if he show the only way of him proving himself he's not like a two-face in this he says she says situation, he has to show the DMs. I see. Okay, kind of see it.
He can then talk about the DMs without having any guilt associated with spilling the beans on Tectone's very sensitive information.
Huh.
Yeah, see what I mean? Two perspectives, extremely different from each other, but they exist. How are you going to process this information? How do you come to your own conclusions? That's completely up to you. And that's the whole point of this video. At the end of Atsu's video, he brings up past dramas that Tectone has been a part of, contributing to the idea that his behavior has always been problematic, but also does concede and say that a lot of times he is taken out of context and that he receives a lot of hate daily. Attached to this video is an unlisted video called Explaining DMs, Atsu and Tectone's DMs, Atsu's POV. This is a 37-minute video where he goes through every single line of the DMs.
Okay.
Tectone has gone through it on stream. To him, this means that it's fair play. Now, what made these DMs so crazy? What made it so crazy to the point where even Atsu didn't want to reveal it before Tectone did?
Kaon, thank you for the following. Welcome.
Well, it's simple. Tectone confided in him two things. The first one,
hello.
His sister tried to end her life, and second...
Wait a second, I missed some key information here. What the hell, he says?
Line of the DMs. Now that Tectone has gone through it on stream, to him, this means that it's fair.
It's pronounced the Keon? Alright, my bad. Welcome, Keon.
Fair play. Now, what made these DMs so crazy? What made it so crazy to the point where even Atsu didn't want to reveal it before Tectone did? Well, it's simple. Tectone confided in him two things. The first one, his sister tried to end her life, and second, Tectone was raped as a kid.
Wait, what the hell? Most people don't get that. I see. Where is that from? Is it from a particular language, or is it from an anime character?
Tectone read these DMs to end her life. Simple. Tectone confided in him two things. The first one, his sister tried to end her life.
Oh, so Tectone's sister tried to end her life.
And second, Tectone was raped as a kid.
Oh, okay.
When Tectone read these DMs for the first time on his stream, this was genuinely the first time his community found out that he was raped as a child.
Oof. It's your name? Ah, so it's your real name.
So as you can see, this went from...
Right on the first try for some reason.
From content creator drama in an anime game, and is starting to really delve into the very tragic, real, and serious side of life. And we're still in phase 1.
Wait, hold on a second. Let me process that. What? So we know the leaked DMs, and a lot of people learned that Tectone have some traumatic family experience and traumatic childhood. Can I send a video for you to react to? I may not have the time to do that, but you can send. I don't think I allowed the links, so if you can send me the titles and where I can find it, I might be able to do that.
in an anime game and is starting to really delve into the very tragic, real, and serious side of life. And we're still in phase one. These DMs, a lot of them were back in September 2021, so we're talking months before this drama was happening. As a reminder, we're in January 2022 right now. Now, depending on your perspective here, these DMs can mean two different things. From Atsu's point of view, he was trying his best to help Tectone in private. Anytime there was any sort of controversy, anytime a creator would be offended, they would pretty much message Atsu so that he could talk to Tectone because they were under the impression that they were friends. And to Atsu, at the time, yes, they were.
Okay.
It's like, hey, Tectone,
So they were
talk about
friends?
the gaslighting topic on stream today. I'm getting several people demanding I address it because, you know, I'm your friend. This is in regards to Tectone saying that he hates when people use the word gaslight incorrectly.
Gaslight incorrect.
That was offensive to some content creators in the space. So again, from Atsu's POV, he's doing his absolute best to help a friend. He's trying as hard as he can, and he's not really able to come across to Tectone.
Okay.
From Tectone's perspective, Atsu is being overbearing and pushing it a bit too much sometimes.
Okay.
This logic stems from the fact that many times there was controversy with Tectone, Atsu would choose to speak about it on stream at length instead of just talking privately. He would do a mix.
Okay.
Talking about it privately and also talking about it on stream, which pissed Tectone off because in his mind, if you have something to say to me, say it in private. Now there's
No, wait, Max, it's a trap. Literally by my channel Super Shout Mon, by the way, if I'm getting this wrong. You allow self-promo because some idiots did not tell me and abandoned me for self-promo. I don't really allow for self-promo, but it also depends on what you want to promote. I usually tend to ignore them. That's the way I deal with them, because I'm by myself, I don't have any mods, and I have no way to deal with claim these chat or ban anyone while I'm streaming.
That's fairly important. Atsu was telling Tectone his reasoning as to why he was so insistent on him addressing certain things, saying, as I mentioned earlier, I got bombarded with people demanding I address the situation in relation to Tectone drama. Tectone argues, yeah, so did other content creators. But do you know what they did? They said things like, hey man, don't get why you get all this hate, hope you're alright, stay strong. Atsu says that this is called a yes man, because he doesn't think that Tectone is 100% in the right. Tectone then says,
Wait, what the hell? What is this? Are you attempting to lecture me? To a degree, yes. Yes, so did other CCs. Do you know what other CCs did? Say, hey man, don't get why you get all of this hate. I hope you're right. Stay strong. Yeah, that's called being a yes man. As I said, I don't think you are 100% in the right. Huh. Yo, long time no see. Hello, Tomato Sandwich. Welcome back. Or good to see you again. How are you?
would you like to know the content creators in particular that he just called yes men? Atsu says, go for it. Now, back then in 2022, Atsu blurred the names of the people in order to protect them.
Okay.
Due to Phase 3 happening in 2024, just this month of June, we now know that the names that he blurred were Toronto and Dish.
Toronto and Dish. My internet was dead for 11 days. Man, how did you survive those 11 days? Tell us about it. Did you have to survive from the public internet? No phone, nothing. Wow.
Now, yes, technically, Tectone had shown this on stream, but the VOD had been lost to time, while this stayed on YouTube since then. This was Atsu calling some of his closest friends yes men because they were checking up on Tectone. This had massive implications. We'll get to those later. Atsu insisted that these DMs did nothing but benefit him because it showed that they were very good friends.
I was playing on the 3DS with a R4, but it was boring. What is R4? Is that a TV screen? I know 3DS. I'm not that old or uneducated. I don't know what is R4. Radio 4? They cut it off because they said I wasn't paying the bill, but I was. Oh, really? R4 is a bootleg cart for DS games. Bootleg cart? What? Let me Google this very quickly. Huh, R4 cartridge. Again, what is bootleg? I think with my 3DS, I mainly just played 1 or 2 games. They explained I was playing. Okay, I read that.
Tectone disagrees with that statement. But
Emulator, I
regardless, they
see.
clearly had some big disagreements. And this won't be the last time we'll reference these DMs. We'll get back to them most notably in Phase 3. But surprisingly to many, even though these DMs showed that they had a rocky relationship, Tectone's video called No More Drama, This Is the End had him pretty much concede to everything that was being said about him back then.
Oh.
He apologizes and says that, hey, listen,
Okay.
you're right. It was my bad that I laughed at Yunjin's song. I screwed up by calling Genshin free-to-play players mint collectors.
So I was playing Harvest Moon Tale of Two Towns and Advance Wars with... What's YGO? Was it Yu-Gi-Oh? Advanced Wars? I think I have heard of Harvest Moons, but not the other ones. Advanced Wars. But it was boring because most of the games were Cooking Mama and I couldn't change games. Yu-Gi-Oh! YGO is Yu-Gi-Oh! Yes, I see. Advanced Wars. Ah, okay, I see. Looks like a strategy game. Advanced Wars. Man, I feel terrible for you, but now you have the internet. You are free to do whatever you want. Advanced War is the stepchild of the creator of Fire Emblem. Oh, really? A stepchild. Does that person love that game more than Fire Emblem? Had to get T-Mobile. I see.
Emphasizing that this wasn't really to insult them, but it was more of a dig towards Hoyoverse for not being able to update the game often enough.
I got it over the weekend, but it took forever.
The Genshin community is very different from other
I cannot imagine what you went through.
Content creators to be perfect, almost like idol culture. He says that he cannot do that, and he ends his video by saying that if anyone
with bad luck
in time ever felt wronged by him, then they have the ability to message him immediately and he will apologize. And if you scroll down in the comments, you can see Tuwanto, Dish, Xlice, all close friends of Atsu cheering him on over his decision to apologize. People were hopeful that this is it. The drama was going to end and it wasn't going to get brought up again.
They were going to cancel both series, but Fire Emblem survived due to the waifus. Aha, I see.
You see, a day before January 2022, a day before Atsu and Tectone released their video, Goose Egg released his video called My Side of the Story. He pretty much argues that Atsu dehumanized him, almost discredited everything that he's ever done on YouTube when he said that he was a discount tech.
Advance Wars never came out in Japan and was delayed in the USA due to political events twice. Wow, yeah. I can imagine these kind of war topics are a little bit sensitive over, in America because, guns and a very strong country, I guess. A military strong country. The community kept saying to emulate the old games, so it didn't even sell 500,000. Wow, what a shame. I mean, if there is a much convenient, legitimate way of playing the games, then I would imagine it's going to be, having a huge sale. But I guess the emulation is just way too convenient. Now, USA is a stupid. We are the 4th overworked country. Really? I would imagine Japan being the first one. Maybe other Asian country become the 2nd or 3rd. And Europeans are generally the happiest countries, isn't it? Sweden or Switzerland, one of them. Well, the new game was a reboot. Ah. Korea was the 2nd under Mexico. Really? I'm surprised by Mexico. I was not aware of that. Actually, back to the video. We got another 2 hours we have to go through this Genshin Impact drama.
So many videos made that had nothing to do with Tectone. Right here. All these videos that he has made had nothing to do with Tectone. They were made before he even lived with Tectone.
Okay.
He also denies the accusations of drama baiting and that it was him simply wanting closure.
I'll be here even though I know nothing about Genshin. Don't you worry. You don't need to know anything about Genshin. This is everything to do about content creators. Alright, let me recap.
comes with negative connotation that he's ever done on argues that Atsu's video called My Side of the Story. He pretty much argues.
So from my understanding, Goose Egg felt personally attacked by Atsu, and he basically wasn't happy about, Atsu calling him a cheap knockoff version of Tecton. I see.
That Atsu dehumanized him, almost discredited
Dehumanized him
on YouTube when he said that he was a discount Tectone, something that only comes with negative connotations. He also argues that he's not a Tectone leech because even before meeting Tectone...
Yeah, I do feel like Atsu should apologize in regards to, insulting Goose Egg as a discount version of Tectone, a leech content creator.
He had so many videos made that had nothing...
Since we got internet, my mom isn't happy over the bill, so I've vibed either you. Oh. That's terrible. I do remember something similar happened when I was a kid as well.
...to do with Tectone. Right here. All these videos that he has made had nothing to do with Tectone. They were made before he even lived with Tectone, according to him. He also denies the accusations of drama baiting and that it was him simply wanting closure on these subtweets where he felt targeted. He ends his video by saying that he wants nothing to do with Atsu ever again.
Okay.
He doesn't want to be associated with him in any way, shape, or form. After the drama video right here, Atsu continued doing what he did best, whale content and collabs with his friends. Tectone also continued doing his content, but...
Recording while listening to this at 3 p.m.? I see.
Plummeted. Now, was that a direct correlation to the drama? I can't prove that, but things weren't looking too good. And according to Tectone, they only got worse. From Tectone's point of view, he was having many issues that he wasn't revealing on stream. Atsu's words held a lot of weight in the Genshin community. I'll explain to you why. So him saying that he was surrounded only by yes men and that the people around him will only do his bidding made it seem like he manipulated Goose Egg to make that drama video.
Oof.
In his now deleted Twitch VOD where he was reacting to Goose's initial video, that's exactly...
Can you get subs yet? No, I'm not a... What's that? Affiliate or partner.
Reduced into discount Tectone. No one really took him seriously anymore. This caused the friends that Tectone had met through Genshin Impact to start having second thoughts about being associated with him, because then they started asking themselves, wait, am I actually being a yes man to him? Am I doing his bidding right now? This caused Tectone to lose every friend.
I got Prime and I wanted to use it.
In 2021, while he was doing
use on to somewhere else.
He almost stopped completely. And again, from Tectone's perspective, Goose Egg started blaming himself for all the issues and grief and harassment and all sorts of things that were happening to Tectone because he had decided to make that video. So he locked himself in his room days at a time in the darkness, and all of a sudden Tectone's best friend was becoming unstable and was distancing himself from him. The straw that broke the camel's back was when Goose Egg was streaming and leaked the address of the house he lived in with Tectone and Frame to the public.
Wow.
The worst things that can happen to you.
I mean, that is his fault, isn't it? No, I will use it on my stupid friend as usual, but I wanted to help out. Appreciate it. Too bad I'm still not popular enough to become affiliate or partner. But honestly speaking, I don't really see the benefit anyway. I'm doing this for fun. Being an affiliate or partner just makes more kind of restriction or responsibilities. Did you know if you become a affiliate or partner, you cannot stream like simultaneously on YouTube and the Twitch, which I think is a terrible, restriction or limits you as a content creator. So I would rather not become a affiliate or partner soon. It's not popular either. I think you just need 3 people. Yeah, you do need 3 people like an average view, but I don't need it. People can just decide whenever they want to come. I don't want to make people feel obligated.
As a public content creator, as someone who is known online to many people. While Tectone was very angry, he demanded that Goose Egg pay for security.
With affiliation, you technically can. Well, I think that's because they changed the rules recently. I don't know about a partner. Interesting, I can check it out later, but I think there is no like a very hard rule in terms of simultaneously streaming. But if you become really big, if you simultaneously streaming on YouTube and Twitch, you will get like a contract or partnership immediately terminated. So it's like a gray area. It's the best you don't do it if you are a affiliate, but if you do it, there is no police is going to, knocking on your door and asking you to pay the fine. It's in the gray area, I would say.
security cameras so that they can ensure their security. But Gusag's reply was that he was making no more money from his YouTube channel. He couldn't afford security cameras, even if he wanted to buy them. This was the beginning of the end of their friendship. Even though Tectone considered him his best friend, Gusag left the house shortly after. And it was at that point that Tectone has admitted that he felt suicidal. He said that this was the closest he was to taking his own life. But the only thing that kept him going was his cat, Eggy. This drama also heavily impacted his marriage, as Frame was getting daily harassment. As you can see from this tweet here on January 20th, during the drama with Atsu. Just because I'm married to someone doesn't mean I'm a yes man. I love Tectone, but I'm my own person and have my own thoughts and opinions. Lol. Crazy, right? Why do y'all constantly have to bring our marriage into this shit? So now she was seen as a yes man. She was
A lot of folks got affiliated for the subs at least, but my idiot friend once partnered the entire moolah. Told him he's better off going to the USA or the UK. Oh, really? Where is he from?
seen as an enabler, and she was getting daily DMs telling her that she's a horrible person for having married Tectone and that she should divorce him. And a little while after Tectone had moved down from Canada to the US because of him joining OTK,
Jamaica?
they
Oh.
had officially filed for divorce. And this was yet again a way for people to make fun of Tectone. That he
Wow. Can you imagine a real life, content creator drama escalated to affecting their real life? So, Frame divorced Tecton due to the constant harassment. Oof, that's a rough time for him and the wife.
together, that even his wife got tired of him. This is when Tectone would start to shift his content. And during this whole process, started to distance himself from the Genshin community and started holding more animosity.
A lot of the content creator drama is in real life drama, sadly.
For the most part,
that's what I find very interesting in terms of perspective or the way you're showing the faces in Europe or in West America, USA. A lot of content creator loves to show their faces with the camera. On the other hand, like in Japan, people are more kind of reserved and a little bit private. They kind of value their real face not being shown during their private time or streaming the games. A lot of gamers don't show their faces even. I mean, even that one VTuber has a lot of in real life Japan drama. I know, right? So it's like a big gamble if you decided to reveal your face or showing your face as a content creator. Because for me, I have a real life. I have a daytime job, and I use my face all the time during my daytime job. And I don't want my people who knows me in real life associate me with a gamer personality. Japanese people are crazy. Ooh, YouTube mod didn't like that comment. Though they were harassing this one dude on YouTube.
Tectone was blacklisted from the Genshin community. He had completely separated himself from everyone, and Atsu was still in that community, carrying on as usual with his friends, with his collaborations, with his videos, with his streams. And as far as we knew, both of them had nothing to do with each other anymore, and everyone was hoping that it would stay like this.
I think it was the mukbang guy.
Really? From the Genshin community's
mukbang, was it Nico Avocado?
Perspective, Atsu had come out victorious, and the bully Tectone
claiming he was catering to Americans.
From Tectone's perspective, he was wronged. He had lost everything that mattered to him. And even though in his mind he had lost the
No, his name is Moko-chan.
Which is
Moko-chan. That sounds like a girl name. Moko-chan. Oh, never mind. There's a dude. The dude you mentioned, he's American, European. Nico Avocado, I can't remember. That dude is probably Canadian or American. Nico Cardo, Avocado. I told you it was a dude. Oh, he is an American internet celebrity, but he was born in Ukraine.
Why, during the period of January.
Okay, so is this the end of the phase one? It does seems like Tecton has somehow lost a lot during this drama, and Atsu came out victorious. Tecton lost his best friend, uh, partially because of the drama. He lost his wife. He is getting kind of being put on a bad image with him, associating with him. Yeah, they kept writing in Japanese bad stuff, so much drama over nothing.
January to February 2024, Phase 2 had officially begun.
Okay, phase 2 interlude.
I'm impressed you made it this far because Phase 1 does have a lot of information. The reason why we had to go through so much was because this phase is going to be referenced and will be used as the baseline for the next phases. Phase 2 is
He seriously lost everything. Yeah, Tecton lost a lot thanks to this drama.
To the point where it's not a content.
Wait a second.
And it's when things
Hoyoverse. Isn't this Gigak? Why is Asmongold here? I guess this is Toronto. This is Atsu. I don't know who are the other peoples there. Hoyoverse.
start to get very spicy. To the point where it's not a content creator war anymore. We're talking about careers, money, contracts, relationships, backstabbings, etc. You might already have an opinion after phase 1, but let's see if it stays intact or if it changes.
Alright, let's see. What is my opinion here? So my opinion here is everything was triggered on, well, at least from this perspective and this narration, everything triggered from Atsui's subtweet. And the subtweet triggered, what was the name? Goose Egg? Goose Egg came after Atsu, and Atsu made a response, and within the response, he insulted Goose Eggs, denied his like a lot of creative work, saying Goose Eggs is some kind of yes man to Tecton, and somehow this, kind of a fire back to Tecton and getting everything involved, and yada yada yada. Then eventually, this whole drama exploded, and Tecton lost his wife. Not physically, but he divorced his wife, and his friend accidentally leaked their physical address, and he has to say goodbye to his friend. And he got blacklisted from the Genshin Impact, so he has nothing to do with Genshin Impact anymore. Wow. In terms of the end result of this phase 1, Tecton does seems to be like the loser in terms of he lost a lot because of this drama. Let's see what happens in phase 2.
Changes. I hope you're ready because we're about to find out. So, we are now in January 2024, 2 full years after the events of Phase 1.
Okay, so 2024, Genshin Impact came out in 2020. That is 4 years after the Genshin Impact, but 2 years after this big drama.
Every year around Chinese New Year, Genshin Impact comes out with the biggest update of the year celebrating it.
Oh.
And 2024 was going to be Genshin Impact's 3rd Lunar New Year.
Okay.
Now, for every version update, Genshin Impact will have a developer live stream where they talk to you about what you're going to see in that upcoming update.
Okay.
Because we're expecting a big reward because 3 years for a gacha game is kind of a big deal.
Yeah.
There was huge controversy over how meager the rewards were going to be.
How meager.
In them losing over 1 million followers on their Chinese social media account. I made
Ouch.
a video about it if you're interested in knowing more about that situation, but for the sake of this video, you don't really need to know the details. Now, typically, Genshin content creators will react to those live streams and then upload their reactions on YouTube. This prompted Ziox, a well-known guide maker in the Genshin community, to post this tweet saying, "The duality of man." In it, you see 2 different reactions to the live stream. The first one is from Dora.
So from Doro44, this Genshin Impact update is insane. 4.4 live stream reaction. Genshin Impact 4.4 looks underwhelming, but I see
44.
the duality.
Saying the update is insane. And the second one is Tectone, clearly not happy, saying it looks underwhelming. This is meant to highlight how Doro is always positive about the game and how Tectone is
Yeah.
always negative about the game, even though he doesn't play it anymore. From Doro's perspective, he's a half glass full type of guy, which means he's just optimistic. He doesn't like to be negative. And from Tectone's perspective, he is someone who loved the game when it released, grew to hate it because of the changes they made to it, and only does what he does to keep the developers accountable and hope that one day the game can become fun for him again.
Okay.
While Zyox posted this fully intending it to be a meme, as you can see, it blew up way
Ooh,
above
it
anyone's
blew up.
expectations. At 4.6 million views, 26,000 likes. This actually, believe it or not, was the trigger to phase 2.
Okay,
And it wasted
trigger.
no time to get things rolling. From Tectone's point of view, he was getting people coming to his chat to harass him over this because of his negativity towards Genshin Impact.
Ooh,
Look,
getting
harassment
harassed.
aside, no matter what happens. But from a neutral point of view, Tectone does get it all the time. So someone like him does have thick skin. However, the people who don't have thick skin, the people who aren't used to it, are the people who make content about Genshin and try their best to stay positive, like Doro and like many others. Some of these content
Okay.
creators have been making content for years and have never dealt with any sort of harassment or
Yeah.
hate, at least not on this level.
Like me, I'm a very tiny content creator, and I would not be ready and prepared if I suddenly one day run into this kind of a controversy because a random stuff I have said during my stream become, I don't know, making people feel uncomfortable or feel attacked.
Same with how Tectone was getting people in his chat. They were getting dislikes on their videos, harassment in messages, and all sorts of other things. This was turning nasty very quickly. And people started taking sides. People who were positive about the game started blaming Tectone for inciting negativity and encouraging harassment. And from Tectone's perspective, he was saying that the people who were overly positive about the game were contributing towards its decline, and that they should speak up more about their criticism and feedback. This made a well-known Genshin and gacha game creator by the name of Fobmaster to make a tweet about Tectone.
Okay, here is the Tectone cycle. If you enjoy the game, enjoy it, but implies to his audience, content creators are just faking enjoyment. I get for some people this is their livelihood, but makes video calling content creators hypocrites for continuing their livelihood. Okay.
Pretty much calling him out for putting people's livelihoods at risk, and that just because he's an OTK and is a millionaire doesn't give him the right to be so inconsiderate of other people's feelings. Now, Fob at the time was known to be more of a friend to Atsu than Tectone. They were known to hang out together and they had the same circle of friends.
Okay.
The tweet was pretty big and I think at its height had reached hundreds of thousands of views, I think closer to 1 million. But it has since been deleted, and both him and Tectone solved things in private messages.
Okay.
So that's why I'm not going to be really talking about it too much, but just so you know, that happened. Fobmaster's tweet emboldened Atsu, and he came out with his own criticism of Tectone. Someone completely irrelevant to all this tweeted, having a guy you don't like be obsessed with you, top 10 most horrible experiences in life, and he quote tweeted that saying, Genshin community's experience with Tectone. As you can see, this was posted 9 hours ago in Tectone's video, already at 500,000 views. It got a lot of traction because, as I said, this really took over the Genshin community and the wider anime and gacha community.
Wait, when did this happen? It just say 9 hours ago on January 31st. Is this 2024? I guess it's this year, January.
Community by storm. And then he followed up that initial quote tweet with this wall of text. We're going to go through this quickly because it is important for you.
Yeah, that's a lot of text.
On a side note, just so you know, many of the tweets and things that were posted in Phase 2 were deleted after the fact. So I had to come up with some creative ways to find them again, which is why I'm telling you about this tweet through Tectone's video. I said this already on stream, but to reiterate here, I thought it was unfair how Tectone and Doro, amongst others, got absolutely blasted by Twitter following Zyox's tweet. It was unprovoked, and I think it's bad if we act like people can't have their opinions, whether overly positive or overly negative, especially when they're not enforcing it on you. Having said that, the way Tectone has reacted to this by diverging the conversation, name-dropping, throwing shots, and spreading misinformation about content creators, including myself, and parts of the community he is bitter towards, just comes across as extremely insecure. I think it's clear to most that he's just milking content and viewership while parading himself to be some sort of noble advocate for change. This is the narrative he wants, and naturally his fans are going to eat it up.
Okay, let's dissect these paragraphs. I think what he said on the first one is partially true. It's pretty good. It was unfair, you know, these two getting these kind of a hate or attention thanks to Zynox's tweet. the duality of a content creator. But the second one, oh, I don't know about that because I haven't watched the video, so I don't know what he's talking about. And the third paragraph, well, I agree. Tecton is definitely milking the content because he's a content creator. What else would he do? By parading himself to become some sort of a noble advocate for change. I mean, if he wants to change, he has to become, promoting the change, right? Because that's what he wanted from to see in Genshin.
There's really not much you can do about that. It would be amazing if he could take his own attitude of assuming the worst of others and apply it to himself, because from the looks of it, he loathes this game and community, and he always looks miserable when referencing Genshin. So why do we find him repeatedly inserting himself in Genshin-related things?
Hmm.
Almost 20 drama-related videos in the past week is astounding levels of obsession, especially for something that doesn't bring you joy. People will point to it and say he's making money from all this, and you're not wrong. It is definitely helping to pay the bills, but Tectone is a large content creator. He does not need this drama to pay the bills. In my experience, when I used to be friends with Tectone, he wanted to be loved and respected by his peers and the communities he was in. Deep down, I don't think his intentions are in the wrong place, but my God, is the way he goes about things completely awful and obnoxious.
Oof.
You know, he and I had a very public falling out because he did not like what I had to say to him about walking towards self-destruction by repeatedly getting involved with drama and surrounding himself with yes men. This is a direct reference to what we just saw.
Yeah, to phase one.
Phase one. Let's continue. For him, he thought this comment about self-destruction was about clout. I remember him bragging about getting into OTK as a rebuttal to my statement, but it was more so about his emotional and mental well-being, because every drama would just make him and others so miserable. Sometimes the drama was unprovoked and people would target him, but most times it was self-inflicted. It genuinely does make me sad to see he has not emotionally matured or grown at all from his past actions and experiences, repeatedly farming drama for content even though it makes him upset and bitter. Sadly, he'll continue to deflect, misconstrue, and spin narratives to suit himself until a person he deems as hierarchically above him actually confronts him. People think I dislike or hate Tectone, but I'm genuinely indifferent. My last message to him was asking him if he wanted to play Crab Game, which understandably he ignored. I wish he would be able to
Okay.
find some peace within himself by severing ties with the communities and content creators that bring him unhappiness. This would be a win-win for everyone, but he just cannot let go and always ends up putting others people's names in his mouth. Initial tweet was low-hanging fruit, of course, but as he'd say, it's just banter and don't be such a pussy, right? So here, in that last sentence, he was talking about the quote tweet. Now, here's something that you need to
Wow, that's a long tweet Atsu just sent out about Tecton. I'm curious what's going to happen next.
understand. Atsu had effectively reincarnated his drama between Tectone.
Yeah, he did. Atsu reincarnated this drama and revived it. And I think Tecton, well, if I'm not wrong, really don't want to talk about this phase one drama again. But Atsu brought it up. Why?
Bringing phase one into phase two. Ziox's tweet was the trigger. This was the official declaration of war.
Okay.
From a completely neutral and objective point of view, this would have changed nothing. Phase two would have concluded exactly like phase one. This tweet from Atsu is enough to completely obliterate Tectone in the Genshin community. There was nothing Tectone could do to change anyone's mind, and there was nothing Atsu could do to change anyone supporting Tectone's mind.
Okay.
The result of phase two would have been the exact same as phase one. Atsu would have gained support from the Genshin community, Tectone would have gained support from his community. None of them would have won over anyone else, and we would just move on. What makes phase two so significant is that in this tweet, Atsu made a massive miscalculation.
Okay.
It's the final paragraph that I haven't read to you yet.
What did he say?
Single-handedly makes phase two so much more of a nuclear warhead
Wow.
than phase one.
Let's.
Completely changes the status quo.
What is it? What did he say?
If you're reading this Tectone and your source for some of these claims you are making happens to be a guide maker that bears a personal grudge against me, please beware. You are likely being manipulated. Maybe it's not who I think it is, but I'm certain you know who I'm referring to, so stay vigilant. My Discord DMs are still open if you ever wish for a private discussion. So when it comes to the claims he's talking about, it actually goes back to the subtweet that was in Atsu's initial drama video, where Tectone claimed that only a select few favored by MiHoYo were getting sponsorships for Genshin Impact.
Yeah, I can imagine it probably feels really shitty getting bodied on analytics from mate collecting streams and the chosen ones cherry picked by MiHoYo to get free money. That's from Tectone. Reason why I'm taking a break on Twitch stream.
One of his claims as to why some content creators are overly positive about Genshin and are scared to criticize it was because they wanted to be in that circle and not
Ah,
get blacklisted by Genshin Impact so that they can keep getting contracts with them.
okay.
Some of them can be very lucrative. But what was insane about this last paragraph and the way it was written is that Atsu was implying that someone was whispering information in Tectone's ears and manipulating him.
Huh.
That it was a guide maker. The
Guide
last person
maker.
you'd ever expect to be a part of any drama. This paragraph was such a bombshell that it took away attention from the entire.
Who's the guide maker?
On this, and it made people wonder. Who the hell is this megamind insane genius who can manipulate?
Tecton. Oh, that's the gamer sub dude. I don't know what that is, but I think you're right.
Crazier from this point on. And what ended up happening is that for the first time in recorded history, Tectone would gain the upper hand in the drama.
Upper hand.
Because after 2 days from that post, Braxophone, a well-known guide maker in the Genshin, Honkai Star Rail, and just
Braxophone
communities that is known for his informative and humorous videos and has never been involved in any sort of drama ever, tweeted this out with 10 million views saying, about Asian guy stream, who is Atsu, please tell me what I did or move on. Now, this document has since been deleted, but Braxophone gave me access to it, so thank you.
Okay.
The first thing you see when you open this document that is 13 pages long is TLDR. Atsu hates me. I don't know why.
Atsu hates me.
Spreads hate of me to other creators and industry professionals. I don't know why. Atsu uses people to climb the social ladder while calling everyone who's not in his circle ladder climbers.
Oof.
And Atsu is coming after me and my friends in the open now, and I'm tired of it. I just want to be left alone and not have my career tampered with.
Okay.
So Braxophone is who Atsu was referencing, the guide maker.
He's the guide maker.
And
Braxophone
didn't even know that this tweet was made because Atsu had blocked him. He found out from a viewer, according to him.
Oh, really?
Here's a summary of the main points made in these 13 pages. This story starts in Anime NYC, an anime convention that was held
Anime NYC?
to November 21, 2021. Braxophone goes into detail about his interactions with Atsu
Okay.
in real life. So this is where they first met, and at this point, Braxophone was making Genshin guides for around a year.
Okay.
He admits that he was very socially anxious because of the COVID lockdowns. He hadn't really interacted with many people IRL.
Fair enough.
So Brax met up with Atsu, they took a picture together, and even though he felt really awkward, Atsu made him feel comfortable. He then posted the image on Twitter, and that was it. Fast forward next year in Anime Expo 2022, he seemed to be somewhat avoidant of Braxophone. Regardless, he managed to speak to him and admits that he had started the conversation in one of the worst ways ever. Basically, a voice actress for Genshin had told Braxophone to warn other content creators of another voice actor that was being a creep around women. So Braxophone...
Wait, what the hell? What is happening? Basically, there is this voice actor who's being a terror to other voice actors, and another VO friend told me that I should warn other content creators that he's being a creep and a terror to other people. Are we talking about English voice actors or Japanese voice actors? So, based on my assumption, I'm going to make an educated guess. So it's probably the English VAs.
Basically,
a
voice actress for Genshin had told Braxophone to warn other content creators of another voice actor that was being a creep around women. So Braxophone thought he should warn him about it.
So Braxophone think he should warn Atsu about this voice actor. Okay.
The conversation was very short, and the next time they met was during an Anime Expo party. Atsu kept avoiding him, and he thought maybe it was just his social anxiety playing tricks on him.
Okay.
Then at some point, all the Genshin creators wanted to take a picture together. It was one of Atsu's friends, Dish, who is another big Genshin
Yeah, I know Dish.
content creator, who invited him to take a picture with them. Here's the picture.
Which one's Braxophone?
Brax then says that right after taking this picture, as he was leaving, Atsu brought everyone back together so that they can take a picture without him.
Wow. Wow. I Googled him and he's the drama llama. Oh, really? Yeah.
In any case, Braxophone took this picture and posted it on his Twitter saying, hey, like we hung out. Hell yeah. But he got a few angry DMs from a bunch of different creators telling him to take down the picture immediately. Because apparently this person right here, who is censored with this emoji, was a VTuber and she didn't want her identity to
Okay, so that person is a VTuber?
be online. Braxophone wasn't told this though, because as he was meeting everyone, when he asked her who she was, what she does, she said, I'm nobody. He wasn't
Oh,
warned by anyone that she was a VTuber. He had
well, I mean, it's that VTuber's fault, right? She should let people aware of it.
no idea. So this, of course, played more into his mind about that maybe he's a bad person. Maybe this is why people don't like him.
I mean, that's just a series of unfortunate event, I would say.
In September of that same year, Braxophone DMs Atsu on Twitter and asks, hey man, like, is everything okay? Maybe I'm heavily misreading stuff, but I get the impression that you're avoiding me and don't want to interact with me. You're not forced to be my friend, but I want to make sure that we're not on bad terms. Atsu says, hey Brax, I don't consider to be on bad terms with you, but I do keep you at arm's length simply because I don't really know you that well, and I found it a bit uncomfortable how eager you came across in trying to befriend me.
Oh.
That felt forceful. After both anime expos, certain tweets and actions I saw over time continued to reaffirm to me that it was probably indeed in my best interest to keep you at arm's length. While I would like to elaborate more, I can't say in good faith that I trust you to respect certain degrees of privacy or to keep things truly confidential. I don't think you're a bad person, but I also don't think I can really vibe with you on a friend level.
Wow,
Brax
okay.
thanks him for the honesty and says, hey man, listen, sorry for making you uncomfortable. I'm not trying to clout chase. I was just excited to finally meet other creators and, sorry for being awkward. Braxophone says, so basically, I'm not on bad terms with you, but I don't want to be friends with you, and I can't tell you why because I don't trust you. Where the hell did that come from? Braxophone specifies, I don't mind you being honest about not vibing with me on a friend level, but where did this trust thing come from? So now from
Okay.
Braxophone's perspective, he was cornered. If he talked to people and confided in them about how weird he found this, he would be playing into Atsu's hands, proving that he is indeed not someone you can trust. And if he stays silent about it, then he has to suffer alone. And that's exactly what happened until he released this document. So this is where things get very spicy because from 2021 up until 2024, Braxophone argues that there were many meetups, events, expos where Hoyoverse and Genshin Impact were present. He would always get there somehow because one of the friends he had, whether it be a voice actor or another content creator, would get him there.
Okay.
He was never directly invited. So he wonders why he's not ever invited. He does some digging and comes to the conclusion that Atsu managed to talk to Hoyoverse into sponsoring a lot of creators to go to the events, and that he took a pay cut for this to happen, which he deems kind. But the idea that he can get Hoyoverse, a company that notoriously does whatever the hell it wants, whenever it wants, to sponsor more people is concerning to him, and it plays right into what Tectone was saying about the favored circle of content creators who can get lucrative contracts with Genshin Impact.
Yeah, okay.
Don't.
Okay.
He did some more digging and then found out that he was actually explicitly blacklisted from these creator events. Again, his Genshin content creator friends would go there and they would be told to specifically not let him know that they're happening, and he wondered what the hell did he do? Why couldn't
So basically Atsu is having a good connection with MiHoYo, and Atsu is basically who becomes Atsu's friend. You will be very likely going to these kind of MiHoYo events. And because Atsu didn't like Braxophone, oh sorry to mispronounce his name, so he got blacklisted. Blacklisted.
anyone tell him why he was blacklisted and excluded from everything? He found it very weird that the same friend circle that always hangs out with Atsu, the people he befriended initially when the game came out, were always present in Genshin events, and he was never invited. To put this into perspective, guys, Genshin Impact's developer made more money than PlayStation 2022. Right?
Wow.
So the idea here that one person has so much influence over who gets invited and who doesn't made a big dent in the community.
Yeah.
Braxophone then goes on to say that without the friends that Atsu made, he would get significantly less viewers than when he collaborates with them. Using these videos as examples. Here, as you can see, he doesn't breach 300,000 views. Here, he's breaching 1 million every single time. Braxophone asked directly the biggest Genshin Impact content creator, Tuanto, who is a known friend of Atsu, if he had any problems with him. He said, I don't really have any problems with you personally, but Atsu.
Atsu.
Made Braxophone believe that the manipulator here wasn't him, like Atsu was making it out to be, wasn't Tectone, but it was actually
Yeah.
Atsu.
Atsu
The thing is
himself.
that because of these interactions, he thought that there was something genuinely wrong with him for almost 2 years. He
Ah,
was too afraid to speak up about it. He still is. He doesn't want to lose friends, burn bridges, and potentially endanger his career. But he does want to know what he has allegedly done wrong. And he
mm,
said he tried to resolve things privately with Atsu multiple times, but he was blocked everywhere and could not get to him in any way, shape, or form. He
okay.
ends this document by saying, I would have never said a word about it again if Atsu hadn't brought it up again. I genuinely can't believe he thinks I'm that evil, scheming to destroy
Ooh,
the Genshin community and its creators via tech tone. Absolute insanity. You've already destroyed my mental health and relationships with plenty of people. I haven't talked about this with anyone in months. Leave me alone.
all right. So from this perspective, I do. It makes me believe Atsu is the one who's at fault, at least in this relationship between this guy Braxophone and Atsu. But let's hear more from this video.
Yeah, this wasn't just about content creator drama anymore. This was about huge implications in terms of careers, in terms of business. This
Yeah.
document forced everyone in the Genshin community to be concerned about this. Because in
Okay.
phase one,
Yeah, I
people
would be
avoided the
concerned.
drama completely. In phase two, they were all forced to somewhat care because their careers could have potentially been in jeopardy. And there were
Hmm.
also allegations of a voice actor being a complete creep.
Oh
And
yeah.
this wasn't the first time this happened in Genshin history. It had already happened before.
Oh wait, was it Tinari's voice actor? Genshin Impact voice actor apologies for abusive behavior, denies sexual involvement with underage fans.
And that voice actor was replaced. But we're not even halfway through phase two. So
Yeah,
as you can
okay.
imagine, things get even crazier.
Well,
But
let's
before we
let's
move
hear
on,
it.
I do have to give you an important detail. Right, so remember this photo?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, this is what Atsu posted on his account. He used it to advertise the fact that they'll be at an event in the Philippines. And he completely hid Braxophone, never posting the original. From Atsu's perspective, this was just him using the picture for promotional material. From Braxophone's perspective, this was his second attempt at making friends in the Genshin content creator sphere, and he got photoshopped off.
Yeah, he
This
got
photo will be an
photoshopped.
extremely important aspect of this phase 2 drama. This is why I'm mentioning this. Keep that in mind. On Braxophone's post linking his Google document, one of Atsu's closest friends and someone who is one of the biggest Genshin content creators that he befriended early on, Dish, had this to say. I cannot speak to all the claims in this doc and I'm processing.
Okay, Dish responded, I cannot speak to all the claims in this doc and I am processing it all, but I will tell you I was very confused by Atsu's distrust for you and said so in the car after the Anime Expo party where we all met. And unfortunately, that is where my investment stopped. I heard passing comments about you here and there, but never bothered to ask questions or make up my own mind about this issue. I need to apologize to you and take accountability for not paying more mind to the growing divide between Atsu and our friend circle, and you for not actually getting to know you myself. I have been focused with my own career and happiness. Happy to have friends in this content creator space, apathetic and unconcerned with how this ousting must have felt to you. Reading this now, I can see how much it has hurt. I will leave it to Atsu and to explain where the distrust stems from. I'm looking forward to hearing it as well. But no matter what, I owe you an apology. I'm sorry it's so late.
At all, but I will tell you I was very
Okay.
confused by Atsu's distrust for you and said so in the car after the Anime Expo party where we all met. This is where they took the group photo. And unfortunately, that is where my investment stopped. I heard passing comments about you here and there, but never bothered to ask questions or make up my own mind about the issue. I need to apologize to you and take accountability for not paying more mind to the growing divide between Atsu and our friend circle and you. For not actually getting to know you myself, I have been focused with my own career and happiness, happy to have friends in this content creator space, apathetic and unconcerned with how this ousting must have felt to you. Reading this now, I can see how much it has hurt. I will leave it to Atsu to
I
explain where
like
the
Dish's
distrust stems
response.
from. I am looking forward to hearing it as well, but no matter what, I owe you an apology. I am sorry it's so late. Brax says, for what it's worth, I've never felt like you didn't accept me, and this means a lot. I'm sorry people are dogpiling you. Thank you. This tweet, coming from one of Atsu's closest friends, only
Uh-huh.
served to cement Braxiphone's position even further. Not gonna lie, this isn't making Atsu look any better, and I'm not even in the Tectone camp, so already this was changing people's opinions
Yeah,
before Atsu
I
could
can definitely see
respond.
that.
In fact, many people on this post, both his friends and people who just know him, came out to say good things about him, about their interactions, and about how they're glad to have known him. All of
Okay.
a sudden, things were not as simple and straightforward as they were in Phase 1 for Atsu, and he was
Uh-huh.
starting to realize this. So Atsu wakes up, sees what Braxiphone had posted, and comes up with his own response to it. This tweet, of course, has since been deleted, which is why I'm using this video to show it off instead. He
Okay.
starts it off by saying that he just woke up, read it, wrote his response, says that it's going to be a long thread, it'll get extremely heated because this man, aka Braxiphone, has been obsessed with me for years now.
Oh, what?
Says that glad Braxiphone has come public about this because he can finally talk about it himself. And
Okay.
he kept trying to force his friendship onto him for years, even messaging Hoyover's staff to speak on his behalf. He then references the DMs he had with him, saying that he's keeping him at arm's length and that he doesn't trust him, and of course that he doesn't vibe with him. He argues that even though Braxiphone's awkward, it doesn't mean that he's forced to be his friend, and that after their DMs where he clarified he doesn't want to be his friend, Braxiphone subtweeted him in a twit longer on his alt account. He sums it up by saying that Braxiphone talks about himself, the passing of his dog, and other things that are bothering him, including him not wanting to be his friend, and how Braxiphone feels that ultimately this locks him out of opportunities to grow. That's the
Okay.
twit longer itself. So if you want to read it, please go ahead and pause whenever you'd like.
My
Atsu
God.
said that when he first met Braxiphone, he walked up to him with a bunch of cosplayers. He then started talking to him as if they were friends. And he didn't know who Braxiphone was at the time. He said it was weird, very uncomfortable, and borderline creepy. They took a picture, and then Atsu followed him back on Twitter, which in his opinion was a mistake. This was the picture they took.
Okay.
Atsu says that this was a very uncomfortable interaction, and then argues that Braxiphone's tweets would incessantly talk about growth, numbers, financial status, friendships, and how he's perceived and wants to be perceived, which made him not want to be friends with him because in his opinion it made him seem like he was obsessed with climbing the ladder. Which means befriending people more successful than him so that he can become successful as well.
Okay.
He counts the awkward interaction 2022's Anime Expo, and Braxiphone just walks up to him and says, X, the voice actor for X in Genshin, is a sexual predator. And he was like, what? Then Atsu references the part in which Braxiphone published a picture with the VTuber in there, exposing their identity. After taking down the picture, the VTuber, Saki, told him to explicitly never bring it up again, and Atsu finds it gross and so self-centered that he brought it up again in his document. And when Braxiphone apologized, from his point of view, he was trying to reassure Saki into thinking that, hey, listen, I don't think a lot of my audience aligns with yours and Tuanto's anyway, so you're probably safe. By the way, the reason why he's mentioning Tuanto here is because it turns out Saki is his girlfriend, but that's something we only found out in Phase 3.
Okay.
To Atsu, this reinforces his point about numbers, audience growth, bigger creators, climbing the ladder. That's all he cares about, and that he just glosses over it like it's nothing. Atsu then says that he made it very clear to the people around him that he does not want to be in a shared space with Braxiphone, and that he does not want to be associated with him.
Okay.
He says, I'm sure this meant Braxiphone was excluded for my sake at gatherings or parties, and for that I feel sorry for him. However, this does not stop him from contacting other people like a grown-ass man and just talking to them and befriending them without having it to be about me. But no, what does he do? He does contact them and he does make it all about me. So this is yet again where perspectives come into play. As a viewer, what would you do if you were in Atsu's shoes? What would you do if you were in Braxiphone's shoes? You have two different perspectives here, with each thinking that they're completely in the right. What would you have done?
I have no
Atsu
idea.
brings up another twit longer Braxiphone wrote, where he said, I'm not going to drop any names in relation to this because I don't want to implicate the or share the stories before they are ready to come out themselves, but at one of the parties that involved Genshin creators, a specific creator that he may or may not want to protect, he being Atsu, caused a lot of trouble for both Atsu and some of the girls at the party. Everyone is told to shut the f up about it and not talk about what happened. Maybe that's what Atsu meant when he said I couldn't keep things confidential, that I couldn't keep secrets about harassment, peer pressure, and more. But what do I know? I wasn't there. I just heard the same story from two people who were there. Why does Atsu have a problem with it? Maybe Atsu does, but he wouldn't want it to come out, because this late, that would implicate him as someone who let it slide. Now, this wasn't really written in the most concise way. Let me explain what he was talking about.
What, yeah.
Braxiphoone thinks that Atsu doesn't trust him because he's trying to hide one thing in particular. A Genshin content creator getting in trouble at a party with a bunch of girls. And yes, That sounds pretty damn bad, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Atsu was furious about this, and you can see that by how much he starts to use caps lock in the thread. Because then he argued that even though something did actually happen, it's the victim's place to talk about this, not yours and not his. So get this, right? This isn't a content creator spat anymore. There are businesses, careers, money involved.
Yeah.
Now we have two different cases in which one is a voice actor who's a creep to women, and another who apparently had a spat with women in a party is involved. We were starting to step into the criminal territory.
Okay,
I
yes.
know, it's very ridiculous that it's stemming from a game like Genshin Impact, out of all things. Natsu then says that when he referenced Braxophone in the tweet to Tectone, he was only 90% sure that he was whispering things in his ear. Now, after seeing the document that Braxophone wrote, he is 99% sure that he is the one leaking things to Tectone.
Wow.
Because
Okay.
his paragraph talking about how Atsu picks who gets to work with Hoyoverse and who doesn't aligned perfectly with what Tectone was saying. So from Atsu's perspective, Tectone was only saying this because Braxophone was telling him about it.
Okay.
And finally, he links a message that Braxophone had sent him about an opportunity with Genshin, even though Atsu had specifically told him, "I don't want to be your friend." He then argues that Tectone is being pressured to reveal his source, to reveal his proof, his evidence, pertaining to the fact that Atsu is the one who controls the contracts. And that Braxophone coming out with this the next day was very weird timing, almost as if they were working together. He goes on to double down on the point that Braxophone is the one manipulating Tectone as a way to attack Atsu indirectly.
Okay.
If he's wrong about this, he apologizes. He then ends this huge tweet with a closing message to Braxophone: "I do not want to be your stepping stone or your friend. Leave me the fuck alone. I'm so heated typing this out right now because I have had to deal with your obsessive stalker-ass behavior in silence for the last 2 to 3 fucking years."
Wow. Okay.
It's a lot to take in, right?
A lot of
Shortly
to
after
take in.
posting his tweet, Atsu went live on his Twitch channel to address any concerns people have about what he said regarding Braxophone and Tectone and the Hoyoverse contracts. Now look,
Okay.
that's not available anymore. I can tell you that it was mostly him talking and sometimes looking at the chat to answer questions. It lasted for a few hours, I think almost 6. It
Wow.
was him trying to go more into detail about
6 hours.
But just like how in his initial tweet, people ignored the entire thing and just focused on the final paragraph of him mentioning Braxophone, the same exact thing happened in his stream. He came on unprepared. He revealed in phase 3 of this drama that he was actually going through a lot of sponsorships and a lot of events, so he wasn't really in the best mindset to address this, but he was caught off guard, which made his entire stream completely useless, and everyone focused on one particular clip involving the photo with Braxophone. The clip where Atsu was caught off guard was made into a meme, and as you can see, this was one day after posting. I'm using the Wayback Machine here because it was...
Oh yeah, Wayback Machine.
February 4 right now. This was posted February 3. It had 1 million views and 11,000 likes. That's what I'm really emphasizing here, right? I think a lot of people here didn't even bother watching the stream. This is what a public image war looks like. And this is why companies will hire entire departments to do their public relations for them, because it's so infinitely complex.
Yeah, I know.
The way in which Atsu was caught off guard was simple. He emphasized that he had taken another group photo after Braxophone had left. That was the picture he posted on his account. But his chat kept insisting that it was the same image he took with Braxophone that he photoshopped. Essentially deleted Braxophone from existence.
Yeah.
Saying that was false until it wasn't.
Until it wasn't.
That doesn't explain why you edited Brax of the photo. I didn't edit Brax out of the photo. It's a different photo. It's a different photo.
Ooh.
You
Okay.
didn't edit him out. What do you mean? Can you guys show me? It's the same photo with him cropped out. Which one? Now with her VTuber model. And as you can see, I've even edited Saki out. It's not just Brax, by the way. I edited Saki and Brax out of this photo because I didn't edit Brax out of the photo.
Oh, he was caught lying in the worst timing possible. I don't think he was intentionally lying. He was just kind of unaware and I can't remember and in a bad state, and he just told something that is not true, and he probably is not fully aware of it.
It's a different
Who knows?
photo. It's a different photo.
It's not a different photo.
Different photo. It's the same photo. My bad.
Okay, fair enough. He said it, my bad.
So I think you can understand now from a neutral point of view.
That looks terrible for his image.
point here is that even if you were to stream for 6 hours and only say accurate information, or write a 40-page document and only say accurate information, as soon as there's one thing that
Yeah,
doesn't make
that
sense, that doesn't
one moment ruined everything, like all of the other good work he has done, whatever is during that 6 hour stream, isn't it?
align, then people will put your
Oof.
entire statement into question. And that's
Indeed.
exactly what had happened.
That's what
That
happened
caught
here.
off guard. Just like I mentioned in phase one, Atsu was seen as this wise, mature man
Oof.
who had great memory and could remember encounters with people. This clip put everything into
If
question, and as I showed you, it had 1 million views in one day.
oof.
It could have been an innocent mistake, but the internet does not work.
That was a
All of
terrible,
a sudden, this
careless
became a war
mistake.
between him and Braxophone, with Tectone watching on the sidelines. And unlike Tectone back in phase one, phase two is proving way harder for Atsu because Braxophone was not an easy opponent. He
Yeah.
wasn't someone that was already hated by the Genshin community. In fact, this
Ooh.
blew up so
Yep.
much out of proportion that Asmongold took an interest.
Oh,
in it.
did he?
Hell, even ordinary gamers made a video about this drama, and it has 600,000 views. Asmongold's video is 3 hours long, and it has 1 million views. And hell, Moist Critical would have probably made a video about it if it wasn't so damn complicated. Phase one was locked to the Genshin community. Phase two had officially reached the mainstream. Now,
Wow.
Mtast, who had stepped in as a middleman between Atsu and Tectone in phase one before, saw what happened during Atsu's stream and hopped on a call with him to clarify things even further, especially about the whole Hoyoverse contract thing.
Okay.
And how he can control who gets a Genshin sponsorship and who doesn't. Again, this clip was lost to time, but since Tectone was reacting to literally every single thing happening to mankind, his channel kind of works like an archive.
Damn, his channel is an archive.
From him during
That was
the-
funny.
This was pretty much Atsu trying his best to clear his name and
All right.
clarify things further. But
Let's
Mtast
let's
took this in
see.
a direction that Atsu wasn't expecting, which resulted in a less than favorable conclusion for both Mtashed and any content creator in the Genshin space. Watch.
Let's watch
So
it.
I think I talked to you about maybe the content creator server, and you reached out to Hoyoverse and you tried to patch it up. And I ended up talking with Sunmilk at TwitchCon and stuff, and I said, like, you know, I'd love to just make content on the game, not be blacklisted. Like, I've tried to patch it up, and like,
So
I've
why
had
does
conversations
Atsu
with
have
them.
the ability to patch up his relationships?
All the DM says is I tried to patch up your relationship with Hoyoverse. I have the Discord logs, kind of thing. And
So
I've already
why does he
discussed
have that ability?
And
The guy
you-
who has
you
the ability
made
to
a
patch
comment
things
about
up
how you went to
also
bat
has
for
the
things.
ability to
Just
ruin
like-
things.
It's fine, but did you go to bat for any these other people? Who are like, I don't know. It's hard to. If you can go to bat for me, if you can go to bat, you could also go to bat against someone.
True.
You know what I'm saying?
True.
Yeah.
True. True. And he doesn't deny.
Your implication here is that
There it is.
I am batting against people
Yep.
in Hoyoverse's ears, and that I am controlling Verse works with.
Yep.
I'm just saying, if you have the ability to do the opposite, then like that's a lot, seems to be a lot of power, and that's
True.
where these allegations are coming.
True.
And I pray that it didn't happen, or else like that's criminal. That is actually.
So what essentially happened here is that Mtashed had trouble reaching Hoyoverse. He talked to Atsu about it, and Atsu patched things up between him and the partnership's manager.
Okay.
Mtashed here argues that if Atsu is able to do that, then he's also
Oh.
able to do the opposite. If he
Oh, so whoever this Mtash is, so somehow he was not able to reach to Hoyoverse, and Atsu was able to reach to Hoyoverse, so patch things up. And Mtash is arguing Atsu, if he's able to patch the relationship, then he should have the same power to do the exact opposite, which is blacklisting people, blocking people from the opportunities working with Hoyoverse. Okay, wow.
does
Wow,
this,
indeed.
he has the ability to push them away from Hoyoverse and having them essentially blacklisted, giving Tectone and Braxophone exactly the ammunition they need to cement their position. This was not the last time this was brought up, because Asmongold, as I mentioned, took a heavy interest in this drama and talked about it for 3 hours, then uploaded it to YouTube. It has 1 million views right now. During the stream, he brought Tectone, Mtashed, and Atsu, sometimes together, sometimes separately, to discuss things.
Wow.
Here he's talking to Atsu about the Anime Expo and his ability to provide Hoyoverse with people to sponsor.
Sure. Yeah, of course, right? I'm not saying that you had complete control, but you did have a degree of control because you provided them a list of people and then they made decisions off of the people on the list. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, so you did provide a list to Hoyoverse, and then Hoyoverse did sponsor people or not sponsor people, but Hoyoverse made their own decision off of that, but that decision was informed by your initial list. Is that correct? partially
correct,
at
yeah,
least.
that's
Okay,
correct.
so you did control it to a degree.
I would say yes, I did
Okay.
control that to a degree in
Right.
that sense.
Okay.
So this
Okay.
again did not help the narrative, because now Atsu had admitted that yes, he does have some degree of control over
Okay.
who gets a sponsorship and who doesn't with Hoyoverse, because he's being asked directly to provide a list of people who can be potentially sponsored. Now, from a neutral standpoint, this didn't make him out to be the evil genius mastermind who gets to control exactly who gets sponsored and who
Yeah.
doesn't. But it did to some degree prove that what Tectone and Braxphone were saying wasn't that outlandish. It did have some degree of truth. Now, at this point, Atsu had slipped up more than once and told everyone that he'd be writing up a final document clearing everything up as best as he could as soon as he wasn't too busy with sponsors and other obligations. While
Okay.
everyone was waiting for his document to come out, Tectone was yet again brought into the spotlight with another Genshin content creator that he already had issues with before Phase 1,
Oh.
Enviosity, and
Enviosity.
things got even uglier. He
Oof.
started off his long thread, one of 18, saying my trauma with Tectone. Now, Enviosity is known to be one of Atsu's friends. He
Okay.
says that this will be the first and last time he'll ever make a public statement about his experience with Tectone over the last 3 years, and that Tectone has had control over his life. He gave him PTSD, and he's going to sum it all up for us.
Oh, okay.
He also adds that he was only able to talk about this due to the recent events that have been happening in the Genshin community. This tweet gained a lot of traction at 3.6 million views, and it was probably one of the ugliest aspects of both phases so far. He says that this all started with the competitiveness that was going on in the Genshin community at the time that we already brought up in this video. According to him, Tectone badgered him throughout his daily streams because Enviosity had a thing going on where he was streaming every single day and had a streak of over 200 days. Tectone apparently asking him things like, Enviosity, let me know before you stream. Half my viewers always leave to watch you. Can you stream later? Which made Enviosity confused over why he had to cater for him. According to him,
Okay.
everything turned into a competition. If he hosted a giveaway, Tectone would host one even bigger. If he was close to passing Tectone in followers, Tectone would tell everyone not to let him. He shows this chart here talking about concurrent viewers, and at this point he argues that his viewership fell to almost half because Tectone was hosting a bigger giveaway than him.
Okay.
In this tweet right here, he claims that his PTSD was going haywire, and this was proof. He was trying to get a particular character called Rosaria, but his heart rate apparently went up because he'd be anxiously waiting for Tectone's community to come to his chat to make fun of him.
I can't. My heart can't take any more chat. My heart rate. I can't. My heart rate's at 151, 2 for fuck's sake. I can't take any more of this shit. I know you guys keep fucking pressuring me and telling me, Envy, keep going. Please, keep fucking going. Go, get Rosaria. And there's gonna be some fucking toxic people later today. They're gonna be all like, oh, imagine tuning in to watch Envy and he didn't get the Rosaria. Imagine how fucked up that is. Well, here is Rosaria for you. You know, toxic people saying shit, whatever. Chat, I just can't. I can't.
So for you to understand this clip, other than the fact that he has a high heart rate, there are some other indicators you need to understand. As I mentioned in this video earlier, Tectone had a thing with free-to-play players where he made fun of them because he spent money on the game and they didn't.
Okay.
Enviosity saved up a lot to try and get a character he likes.
Okay.
Enviosity was notoriously free-to-play, never spending any dime.
Yeah,
So
sure.
every single
I'm
time
free
he
to play
spent
as
more
well.
of the in-game currency, he was depleting his reserves that he had earned through gameplay, which made him stress. Enviosity made a video about this that has over 300,000 views, and it caused many people to start talking about how gacha games are naturally addictive.
Uh-huh.
The harsh reality of being free-to-play and how you're pressured to spend money to get a character you want when you don't get them. Mtashed made a video about it reacting, saying why Enviosity almost made me quit Genshin Impact again due to the fact that he felt that the gacha system was at times so predatory that he couldn't deny it. This was the first time Enviosity had ever mentioned PTSD, and for the most part, everyone just thought that he was reacting this way with a high heart rate because he wasn't getting the character he wanted after so much hard work.
Okay.
PTSD is something very serious to claim. Saying that
Okay.
someone
Yeah.
made you have PTSD is a massive accusation.
That's a big
Whether you believe it or
accusation.
not, this is up to you as a viewer, but I just gave you as much context as possible pertaining to this claim. Enviosity complains that Tectone kept building this false narrative that this was friendly banter of him roasting free-to-play players. All these things led Enviosity to have a panic attack on stream where he cried, and he argues that Tectone has made fun of this more than once.
So what caused this? Because Envy gets one guy a lot and gets riled up real easy, like that one time where people asked him if he was going to join my game show and then he cried on stream. Enviosity's gonna cry.
So after all these things had happened,
Hmm.
the PTSD, the panic attacks, etc., they had squashed the beef, as I had shown you in this video initially,
Okay.
in the summer of 2021. He claims that even though they made amends, Tectone would still make fun of him later and links a clip of Atsu pretty much saying that. Now, this is arguably the ugliest part of the entirety of Phase 2's drama.
Okay.
Velocity, in his 12th tweet out of 19, says, "Unfortunately, I had to isolate myself and block out anything involving him due to the constant stress. Because of this, I ended up missing some pretty big news and disturbing clips involving him, which I just found out about a couple of days ago. Inexcusable behavior."
What is it?
This clip is a clip of Tectone and his ex-wife Freem. Driving, doing an IRL stream,
Okay.
doing a subathon. And if you don't know what that is, it's pretty much where people donate subs to you and increase the timer, making you unable to stop the stream for a set duration of time or sometimes unlimited.
Okay.
During that subathon, this clip emerged of them in the car, and it's 4 minutes long. Guys, I'm not even kidding. I have never in my life felt more uncomfortable watching anything. Like,
Okay.
I can't.
What is
They
this?
pretty much get into a nasty argument where Tectone is clearly way more aggressive than Freem, and Freem just takes it. Enviosity was now crossing Tectone's line, which is including either his partner or his roommates or his close friends or just anyone other than
So
him.
they are criticizing his.
10, 20 seconds just so you understand how crazy this clip is.
Let me
and then I'll give
watch
you
it.
Context surrounding it. It starts off with Freem reading a message from chat asking her, "How do you deal with him?" aka, how do you deal with Tectone?
How do I deal with him? I love him.
Don't touch me.
I'm patient.
No, you're fucking not. You're like the most impatient, moody fucker I've ever met.
I'm patient when it comes to you.
Freem, I carry our marriage, and you know that.
Ooh.
Look, this clip gets nastier, and it's been used against Tectone before. Even XQC had reacted to that clip, and it was posted on Livestream Fail with 3,000 upvotes, and God knows how many people looking at it. The thread was, "XQC reacts to a cringe clip." People felt very bad for Freem and blamed Tectone for being an asshole. Tectone commented on this clip and had one of the most downvoted comments in this subreddit's history. He married to Freem for 10 years and argues that it went well the first 8 years and that the last 2 it was really hard. Content creation put a lot of pressure on their mental and their relationship, so they divorced so that they can at least try to remain friends. He says he regrets a lot of things, and seeing this makes him feel like shit, which he deserves. No excuses. Even Freem had said on Twitter, "We both had our faults, we accepted them, but in the end we didn't work out, that's okay. So please, this is me asking, cut the poor guy some slack." This isn't the end of this clip and its context, but for now it made Tectone look really, really bad.
Yeah, it does
This
make
is one
him
of the
look
most viral
bad.
tweets of this entire thread, but it was also a low blow, and this is staying neutral. Bringing someone else's marriage into an argument you have with them is the definition of a low blow, and Enviosity did so, fully knowing this. Enviosity thought that he could get away with this.
It's 38 degrees here. Damn, it's hot down there.
Freem gave him permission by saying that you can't really escape.
Make sure you drink plenty of water, ice creams. Make yourself cool.
He apologizes for saying a particular sentence during the height of the whole duality of man argument, where he was seen as overly positive for the game and not criticizing it. This is what he said.
Why do I have people on Twitter trying to tell me, Envy, why are you not speaking up about it? As if a YouTube video is going to do anything about it. As if 1 star in Google Classroom is going to do anything about it. As if unfollowing Genshin Impact is going to do anything about it. I should be the only motherfucker getting praise in the Genshin community because I don't spend money on Genshin Impact.
Drinking ice water by freezing bottles. Energy is 0.
Is that whole "I should be the only guy getting praise"? He then says he's not the best with words, that he's been under constant harassment, but that there's one common denominator in all his stress, and that this cycle has been repeated multiple times where Tectone will continue to defend, deflect, and villainize. He then says that this is his piece, he is free, and that he only feels pity for Tectone. Now, regardless of what you might think, right, from Enviosity's perspective, a lot of his grief truly did come from Tectone. Look, this is his point of view, it's his opinion. If we're going to look at this from a neutral standpoint, this is the case here. But what about his PTSD? What about including Tectone's ex-marriage in this? What about all the things that he said? This is completely up to you to decide. Regardless, when it came to the Genshin community itself, this did not help Enviosity at all, because while Atsu was coming up with his final statement, all the hate that was being directed towards Atsu completely...
I got a €9 fan here, a smaller than my 3DS. Wow, that's not going to help.
That there's a line he does not cross, which is including friends, partners, roommates, whatever, in dramas. With Enviosity including this clip with his ex-wife, for him, this was free game. he revived the term of mint collector that he used to use for free-to-play players in 2021, and this time it was mint picker. Tectone would hereby refer to Enviosity as mint picker exclusively.
Mint picker.
The whole "I should be the only motherfucker getting praise" became a complete meme in his
Lucky my PC not dead. I have my phone in front of the fence so it doesn't
also
overheat.
that he references quite often. And Enviosity started losing a lot of credibility in the community.
Oh,
For example, I'm
why?
recording this on June 12th, 2024. As you know, this all happened in January to February 2024, so a while ago. His last video on his YouTube was this one, uploaded 3 weeks ago, so end of May. Look at the dislikes. Every single
Felt like it was ripped off. It was a bigger end of ad. I see.
video that Enviosity uploaded after this incident has a huge amount of dislikes, and the comments are always riddled with, as you can guess, pick more mint. Not gonna lie, I only click on this guy's videos just to read the comments. Where do I mint? I should be the only motherfucker.
So hot in the room, can't even open the window?
Enviosity truly make this
That doesn't make sense.
his piece? Did he do it to deflect off of Atsu?
I don't know, I guess Twitch runs a lot of juice.
It's up to
Possible.
you to decide that. But one thing is for certain, this did not help his reputation. He wasn't mentioned in this drama at all. He
I could go on YouTube.
Insert himself in the drama, and the result was catastrophic.
It's probably the same.
Asmongold, to his huge community,
It's your browser rather than the website you are browsing.
Because they're clearly too mentally ill. So not only did Tectone's community and the Genshin community somewhat start turning on him, Asmongold's community, who has nothing.
The windows are shut here due to the living on the first floor. Oh.
Look, this wasn't just due to the thread Enviosity posted. His reputation went down even further in the gutter when Pinkichu, who is Tectone's current roommate, came out with a statement bawling her eyes out during a stream, saying that his ex-wife, Freem, has been ruining her life behind the scenes, telling everyone in the community that she's a terrible person, stalking her, harassing her, and blaming her for her marriage with Tectone not working out because allegedly, according to her, Tectone had cheated with her. Pinkichu then proceeded to show proof that Tectone didn't cheat on Freem with her and provided
It's the gold, dude.
context on that extremely uncomfortable car clip you just saw earlier, saying that the reason Tectone was so mad at Freem and treating her so badly was because just before getting in the car, he found Freem and his assistant cuddling, essentially indicating to him that Freem cheated on him. This implied that even though Tectone was receiving waves of hate, that thread you just saw in LSF earlier, where it had 3,000 upvotes, with him getting minus 3,000 downvotes, even though all of this was happening, he never revealed that.
Oh.
In an effort to protect her. So this
Okay.
thread revealing the proof only had positive things to say about Tectone. Tanked all of that without giving out the context himself for years. That's crazy.
Wow.
The only reason he didn't end the stream out of frustration was because he was doing the subathon and he really needed the money at the time. On the same day,
Damn.
Enviosity posted that marriage clip, Freem tweeted, "I'm free." It gained a lot of traction. Tuanto came in, said, "You are free now." Enviosity reacted with a heart. Everyone thought that she was referencing her marriage with Tectone. She then clarified, "This was a post about my donathon being over, by the way. This has nothing to do with the drama going on right now." Tectone says, "Thank you for clarifying." And then Freem says, "I've been free of you for months," with a skull emoji. And she specifies again with another tweet, "Since some think this is playful banter, it's not. We are not on good terms, by the way. But this is between me, him, and our lawyers. Sorry for not wanting to talk about my personal life online. Some things just shouldn't be used for content."
Yeah, I
So this
agree
was
with
a
that.
terrible mess. And to many people, it felt like the conclusion. Atsu simply took too long to come up with a final statement and only posted it on February 12th, almost 10 days after that whole altercation Tectone had with Enviosity. The community as a whole already came up with the conclusion that Enviosity wasn't the best person to back. And in that case, Tectone was in the right. Atsu's response still got 1 million views anyway, and it was 43 pages. He says
Wow.
that there's evidence that it's important and that he's lost many friends and community members over these allegations and this drama. This document had a problem because even though it was 43 pages, it addressed dramas with people that no one really cared about. And this is no offense to those people, but like for example, the first thing in this document, and let's be real here, most people have the attention span of a frog. The first thing he talks about, the first thing people's eyes will see, is an awkward but fairly harmless moment he had with cosplayers from the first Anime Expo where Brax went.
Okay.
He also talks about a smaller streamer begging him to collab and then turning on him. People opened up this document just to see what he had to say about Tectone and Braxophone, though. That's the problem.
Okay.
However, what comes afterwards was pretty damn important because he states that him and Goose Egg finally spoke in private after 2 years, referencing the Phase 1 drama. Because
Okay.
during Phase 2, Goose Egg came back after 2 years of silence and DM'd Tectone while he was live, which made Tectone cry on stream. Here's a quick clip.
I haven't heard from him in over 2 years.
So since that happened, Atsu decided to talk to Goose in private and they solved things. He does admit that he wants to make it clear that he went too hard on him in their initial Phase 1 drama, and that seriously messed up Goose's mental well-being. He also specifies that he showed Goose this section to make sure that it was okay with him before publishing it. So if you want to read it, go ahead. But let's be real here. Most people wanted to see what he had to say about Tectone and Braxophone. And what was extremely disappointing to many people, both supporters
It's annoying
and
here.
haters of Tectone, was that he only gave Tectone 1 page out of these 43 pages. That's what he had to say. Omega lol. Tectone is Tectone. I could write 1 word, I could write 1 billion words. The end result will always be the same. You can take my word, his word, the public court of opinion's words. None of it matters at this point. His fans will defend him to the death. His haters will also chase him to the death. It doesn't even matter who is right or wrong. My beef with Tectone is well documented and all over the internet now. If you wish to find it, it's all there. I can promise you that Tectone will never stop speaking about other people in a negative manner, whether that's me, my friends, people from his past, or people who are yet to hit his radar. I'm sure he will make content out of this document too. Of course, there will even be times where we cross paths online or even in person, and I intend to just go about my day. You could say that when it comes to drama, Tectone is inevitable. The movie Avengers Endgame with that Thanos picture right here.
Inevitable.
So the problem here is this. If Atsu had written this about Tectone during their drama back in 2022, back in the Phase 1 of his conflict with Tectone, it would have worked. Without a doubt, this would have been enough to completely deflect anything Tectone is saying and making the community rally behind him, because it was just that easy to go up against him.
Okay.
Either you were a fan of him or you hated him. There was no in-between, and you couldn't really convert anyone from either side to change their minds. The problem is, though, this wasn't about the beef he had with Tectone that is well documented. This was about completely new implications. Because Tectone was streaming every single day, almost 10 to 12 hours at a time, bringing up Phase 1 again, and talking more about his experiences and why Atsu was actually in the wrong.
I guess he does the drama because it gets him views. Who knows?
How serious it was.
Only him knows.
TLDR, he ends up messaging Brax in private and says, Brax and I are good. We've apologized to one another and had some long talks to quash any misunderstandings or grievances. We found out there's another party within our overlapping circles gossiping about Brax, and we've also found out some people have been untruthful to both of us. Of course, this exacerbated the situation for both of us, and we both want to find out what's going on. However, we also don't want this to spiral into a public manhunt. It's something we both intend to deal with in private. I did not blacklist Brax from events, nor do I have the power to influence or manipulate Hoyoverse to do my bidding or let me select which creators get opportunities.
Oh, really?
Brax has retracted many of the allegations he initially made against me and also removed the document he wrote from public viewing. He did this out of good faith to stop this issue spiraling even further out of control, and it is not because he has something to hide.
Okay.
So in a nutshell, when it came to Tectone, he had nothing to say. And when it came to Braxophone, he had apparently solved everything in private, away from the public eye.
Okay.
Braxophone confirms this by quote tweeting his initial tweet about Atsu with his doc, by saying this that he's deleting this for now as they've cleared up some things.
Good. Okay. Looks like they are good, right?
Final update on this, saying last thoughts on the situation with me and Atsu, and as a TLDR says we're good, I have no enemies. He also
I have no enemies.
Atsu had said about them clearing up misunderstandings, about there being someone else that didn't like him, etc., etc. But this wasn't the end of Phase 2, because shortly after, Atsu posts this tweet saying, "You are welcome to dogpile and shit on me, but can you at least leave my wife alone?" Tectone reads this out on his stream while he was streaming and says, "Tell that to Enviosity." Atsu then says, "Freema's not your wife anymore. Stop trying to scapegoat her. She made it clear you guys aren't on good terms. You can label it a low blow from Envy so that you can try and drown this clip out, but more people should be seeing that clip, especially during a discussion revolving around your true character. It's extremely telling. To speak to your loved one like that in any context is unforgivable, and the fact you want to make abuse from your community towards my wife about Envy, go fuck yourself, man." Now again, guys, we only got the full
Who is his
context
wife?
from the Tectone car clip in March 7th, which of course didn't make Atsu look better at all. But this was still in February, so people were still under the impression that Tectone treated his wife like shit.
Okay.
However, even with that context in mind, This had 370 replies. Atsu was insinuating that it's okay if it's Tectone, it's not okay if it's me. You have two different perspectives here. It's up to you to decide as a viewer. Another tweet after that one saying that he's tired and reiterates what he had said in his reply to Tectone.
My god, another long text.
Pause the video if you want. But reading the replies gives you the impression that, man, I'm tired of this. Just resolve this in DMs if you have to. We don't want to see this drama anymore.
Yeah.
It's been going on for like 2 weeks.
I know.
What Atsu made about this is that he called Braxophone and Goosegg separately to air out any grievances and clear up any misunderstandings. He says that many things were taken out of context with Brax in particular, and that he realizes that he'll be called a manipulator for wanting to take this into private with Goosegg and Braxophone. This is because Tectone at the time made it abundantly clear that he was completely against Atsu taking this out in private, saying that he'll most likely manipulate Braxophone. He says he's already lost friends over this drama and doesn't wish to burn any more bridges. He also says that he's sad that many people who he thought were friends or was on good terms with have judged his character without hearing his side in full, but it is what it is. He says my initial response wasn't good enough, it was emotionally charged, and also didn't have any receipts, and I owe everyone an apology for that. And here he's referencing his initial response to Braxophone after he had first published his document. Finally, on February 15th, Atsu releases this 1 hour 30-minute video on his channel called Atsu Cancelled, addressing allegations with evidence, where he goes through everything again, explaining his side of the story. But as you can see from the views, people were just tired of this.
Yeah, I would be tired too.
To have any sort of impact. Tectone, on the other hand, was very quick on his feet and had made his own video saying, RE, Atsu is a horrible, manipulative, deranged human being.
Damn.
Direct reference to the thumbnail Atsu has made for his RE, Goosegg, and Tectone
okay.
in the first phase of this, garnering 400,000 views, 2 hours long, and using the way Atsu treated Braxophone as a tangent to how he treated him back during Phase 1's drama, which made Atsu, of course, look noticeably more bad than 2022.
Okay.
This goes back to why this response was so disappointing to find on Atsu's document, because there were things that he needed to address that Tectone had brought back up under the context of how he treated Braxophone. The impact in this can be seen on the like to dislike ratio of his Atsu cancelled video, with 8,000 dislikes approximately compared to 2,900. At this point, to many people, Phase 2 was when Tectone successfully redeemed himself and Atsu had revealed who he truly was. But that's not to say that many people didn't side with Atsu, and that's not to say that Tectone wasn't still hated. That's one thing to keep in mind. And that was how Phase 2 ended.
Okay.
February 15th, 2024, this was the last thing we saw about any of this. Of course, Tectone would still reference it on the stream from time to time. However, everyone thought that it was finally over.
Okay.
What many people didn't know at the time is that there was going to be a Phase 3.
What is Phase 3?
Bigger than both Phase 1
oh my
and
lord.
combined.
What is going to happen in Phase 3? The interlude.
Yeah, I know what you're probably thinking. How can you possibly top Phase 2?
Yeah.
You're about to find out. You've no doubt had to make some very tough decisions so far. And I wish that I had good news for you, but I don't. Things will only get harder from here on out. And the hard decisions you'll have to might make you hate this entire thing and not end up siding with anyone.
Yeah.
Things are about to get real.
That's what's going to happen. I'm not going to side with anyone here.
After Phase 2 had ended in mid-February, the following months had some buildup pertaining to Phase 3 beginning in June. People kept going to Enviosity's chat and calling him a mint picker, and as you saw even very recently in June, people were still doing so on his YouTube channel, even disliking the videos massively. His role in the Phase 2 drama did not help his public image at all, and
too bad for Enviosity.
Make an entire video called "It's Time to Stop Bullying Enviosity." Here's what he had to say in a few seconds.
So someone in chat just came in with the name Mint Picker. Can I explain something here? I don't care if you like Tectone, or you like Atsu, or you like Envy, or Ziox, or me, or whoever it is. And I don't care whose side you took on all the drama, but if you now go into Envy's stream and call him a mint picker and harass him, you are a dick. And
yeah, I agree.
Had the purest of intentions making this video, but some people argued that now even more people were aware that Enviosity is very affected by people calling him a mint picker.
Okay, yeah.
More people want to participate.
Oh yeah, that's the opposite effect.
On the other hand, was still active on Twitter, most notably on his alt account. And on May 10th, he had this to say: I'm going through the absolute lowest point in my life right now. I am so sad and bitter. I need to be okay for tomorrow's sponsored stream, though. I have several sponsored obligations this month, and I just want it all to be over. So yes, this meant that Atsu was still streaming, but most of his streams were purely sponsored.
Okay.
On May 15th, 5 days after that tweet, he had this to say on his main account. I have a few more sponsored streams / videos to do, but I've decided I'm going to be quitting content creation or at least taking an extended break.
Oh.
I'll talk about why I'm quitting and the struggles I've been dealing with over the past 3 months after my sponsors are done.
Okay.
I know I have been really inconsistent the past few months with uploads and streams, so apologies for that. It's been a really difficult time for me, so I hope to make the last few ones as fun as possible.
Okay,
So
he wants to quit.
Fallout ever since the end of Phase 2's drama.
Yeah.
Struggling with how it ended and making everyone know that he's not really doing okay. At some point on May 22, on his alt account, he even said this. Also, for those who have been concerned, don't worry, I'm not trying to unalive. Those thoughts did cross my mind at one point before, but I'm doing better and trying to heal now.
Okay.
A week later, on June 2nd, Atsu quote tweets his tweet saying that he's quitting content creation on his alt and says, I don't know when I intend to do this as I've been trying to take my time away and enjoy my peace. Referencing about him talking about why he's quitting and the struggles he's had to deal with. But he continues, of course, there's still a bitter feeling there that people lied publicly and privately and I took the fall for it. But is it really worth exposing and rehashing old wounds for? I don't know. So here he's arguing, is it even worth it to make a Phase 3 out of this whole thing? Then he replies, I do want to do a final stream as I miss our community and I didn't properly get to say farewell or explain anything on my end, but I don't think I'm ready just yet. He had tweeted this out on June 2nd, and it turns out that 6 days after this tweet, he would post the bombshell of a tweet on his main account.
What's the bombshell?
At the beginning of this video, and that had overtaken the internet for a little while after he had posted, sitting at almost 25 million views by the time I record this on June 13th. This
June
was, of course,
13th.
the official start of Phase 3. He said, I'm
Wow.
quitting. I lost absolutely everything, my marriage, my career.
I didn't know he's married.
Keeping these secrets to protect others has felt so lonely. I don't want to live like this anymore. This document is for my closure. I want to move on.
Okay.
This prompted many content creators, both from Genshin and outside of the community, to come in support, saying that, hey, we're glad you're still with us. Hope you can heal. This was so big that some, let's say, quote-unquote, news outlets like Dexerto decided to write on it, with articles such as Genshin Impact streamer quits amid tech-tone drama after losing absolutely everything. And Dexerto weren't the only ones. This had not really happened during Phase 2 and most definitely did not happen in Phase 1. This is now concerning not just the Genshin community, but it concerned pretty much the mainstream.
Okay.
The document itself is 34 pages long.
But what does it
The
entail?
first page is arguably the heaviest in this entire document.
Huh.
In the first paragraph, he says that for the last 4 months, so pretty much ever since Phase 2 ended, he's had to protect the peace of other creators and the communities involved, as well as his own friends, by keeping things to himself that he regrets not sharing sooner.
Okay.
He says that he ended up taking the fall for things that had nothing to do with him or were simply untrue from the drama involving Brax,
Like
Tecton,
what?
and himself in February during Phase 2. He says that since February 11th of 2024, he's attempted to take his own life twice,
Wow.
failing to do so on both occasions.
Okay.
On May 9th, he considered yet another attempt after discovering that his wife and partner of 10 years was having an affair.
Having an
in the
affair?
darkest period of his life. He
Ouch.
goes on to say that he lost his career to defamation, lies, and being thrown under the bus by his own friends, and that he was betrayed by the one person he cherished more than anything, saying that he had absolutely hit rock bottom, but that there is a silver lining and that he had started reconnecting with old friends and trying to rediscover his happiness.
Okay.
He goes on to say that he had discovered evidence about his wife Nekopi having an affair, saying that the 10 years they spent together were beautiful and that he doesn't want her to get any hate because in his opinion, she's a good person that just made a series of poor choices and mistakes under extremely stressful circumstances, because
Yeah.
she was also going through a lot of hate during
I'm
Phase
sure
2.
she
He then said that
does.
his wife actually deleted her entire presence off of social media when he had found out that she was having an affair. I think this is someone who had taken her name after she had deleted her account because she obviously had way more than 53 followers, but you get the point. She's
Okay.
pretty much off the internet now. To many people, this came as a complete and utter shock. No one could have ever expected her to cheat on him because she always gave off this wholesome and joyful vibe and had gained many of her followers on Twitter by doing sweet things for her husband, like
Okay.
the bull that looks like Zhongli, which is Atsu's favorite character in Genshin Impact. But it happened. And from a completely neutral point of view, most people out of the 20 plus million that saw his tweet saw the tweet, maybe read the first page, but then that was about it. They saw a
Okay.
man who tried to take his life 3 times, had his wife cheat on him, and is pretty much saying that he was defamed and that his friends betrayed him. But there is, of course, way more to this. There are 34
Yeah.
pages here.
What's written on the other pages?
Exhausted to delve deeper into this. This is the third phase of the same drama that has been going on for over 2 years. There's this one tweet with 4.2 million views saying TLDR, Nekopi cheated, Braxophone lied, Techno's an asshole, bro, never trust these Genshin creators, man, they all suck.
Ooh.
Those points of views were converging on this. They just didn't care anymore, and they found everyone involved somewhat complicit and didn't want to delve deeper. As soon as Atsu tweeted this, Tectone said, Atsu has thrown a grenade trying to take me down with him. Bro brought up my name 100 times, and I'm going live reacting to all of it.
Okay.
The replies were mostly against Tectone. As you can see here, just leave him alone, honestly. Constantly dogpiling on someone is pathetic and will always be. The fact that you keep attacking him makes me believe him more and feel pity for him. You are seriously pathetic. You're like actually evil. Holy shit. So of course this was one of the many perspectives, that this man was at the lowest point in his life, and you cannot react to this document because it'll potentially make him actually end it, which is something that no one wants.
Yeah,
but
sure.
This quote tweet right here with over 1 million views had a completely opposite perspective to that, saying, I read the whole Atsu doc and honestly it just feels weird. The very first page heavily appealing to your audience emotions with the divorce and talks of suicidal thoughts, right before going into 33 pages, name dropping so many creators reeks of manipulation 101, soften them up with a trauma dump so that they blindly trust whatever you say next. Trust me, I've dealt with people like that. So already perspectives varied quite a bit, and most people hadn't gotten the chance to even read all these pages. Tectone did that on stream and then uploaded it to his YouTube. It is a 3-hour-long video. So I'm going to do my best to sum this up for you and give you the highlights so that we can then talk about the massive fallout that resulted from this releasing.
Okay, what is that massive fallout?
Was Atsu cocking a grenade and trying to get as many people in the blast radius as possible. This was going down and taking everyone with him.
He's going down.
Every single Genshin and Honkai Star Rail creator that has any sort of relevancy is mentioned here, including myself.
Mujing.
We'll specifically talk about that at the end of the video, and I will not be neutral.
Okay.
So please don't watch it if you don't want your opinion to be affected. The idea that everyone was mentioned here forced people that typically never involve themselves in drama to actually somewhat have to say something about
they have to make a statement.
Because many people still managed to avoid saying something back in phase 2, even though it somewhat involved them as a content creator when we talk about the whole contracts thing. He brings up Braxophone's document again and says that everything in there was never backed by evidence.
Wow.
To this day, they remain a speculation.
I thought they were resolved.
Reputation. And he said that all other content creators were actually pushing that narrative as well. He then says that his own friends, Tuanto and Dish, made very public commentary on the drama, distancing themselves with words that would protect their own brand while utterly throwing me under the bus and painting me as the bad guy. He then says, I confronted both of them in private at the time, and their responses and apologies were extremely disappointing, with a sentiment that felt like they had excused themselves of any wrongdoing towards Braxophone or myself. He then goes on to say that him and Braxophone are okay. They discussed things in April during a dinner, face to face. He doesn't believe that he had any intentions to ruin his livelihood, and Atsu said to him that he truly didn't want to do, well, this, something like this document. But then said that he had to, because if he ever was going to come back to content creation, either Tectone or Braxophone had to say that what they were saying was false. But he knows Tectone will never do that, and if Braxophone were to do that, it would affect him negatively, so he can't expect either of them to do it. Immediately, he addresses what he found to be the most absurd narrative, that he has the power and influence to blacklist creators from working with Hoyoverse. He says it's ridiculous. But then, he says, I have vouched for people numerous times and gave my recommendations of promising creators, and these are not limited to just my friends. I have vouched for creators who I have never even interacted properly with, and he leaves evidence. We can just look at that right now. So this is him talking with Hoyoverse staff in situations where he has pretty much recommended other creators to do sponsored segments. This was about a podcast-style event for Hoyoverse. They wanted someone who used a face cam, but Atsu felt like he wasn't good enough for this, so instead he recommended many creators in the Genshin Impact community to do it instead. As you can see, here's the list. Now I should specify, just for context, that it seems like for this event in particular, judging from the conversation, that they're being paid with in-game currency and not actual money. Could be wrong, but I do know that for some creator events and programs, they pay in Primogems, which is the in-game currency.
Wow.
Money. He then gives another example here where Hoyoverse was hosting a special event in the UK and they hired a UK-based agency to take charge, so they just went ahead immediately to Atsu, but he doesn't specify why this third-party agency contacted him first before anyone else.
Okay.
Regardless, they went ahead and asked him if he knew anyone else in the UK that did Genshin-related content, and he gave a list. He says that this happened on several occasions and emphasizes that, yes, there are many times where he vouched or recommended for people and that he was probably one of the only people who was trying to pitch ideas to Hoyoverse for events where it included him and others, not just his friends. He then says, I think it's ridiculous how Tectone tried to spin my proactivity in pitching myself and others into some narrative of how I could choose who to give Hoyoverse contracts to, though. He then says that none of these things, these events that he had pitched Hoyoverse that ended up being pretty cool in his opinion, would have never happened if he didn't choose to be proactive. So he absolutely refutes this narrative that being proactive is manipulative or being a snake/rat. So Atsu's perspective is that he had pretty much done his best to pitch ideas and do cool things in relation to a game he likes and had tried his best to recommend others whenever he had the opportunity. From Tectone's perspective, he does wonder why Atsu specifically was being asked to provide certain names, why he had that ability, or why this was even expected from him when it came to Hoyoverse. And of course, this goes back to MTAS's argument when he had the call with Atsu, saying that if Atsu had the power to recommend people, then what's stopping him from not recommending people he doesn't like? Because if you guys remember, in Phase 2, Atsu's first response after Braxphone's document had a paragraph pretty much insinuating like, yeah, maybe me not liking you ended up in you not being invited to the parties, and for that I feel sorry for you. So of course, as always, you have two perspectives very varying and differing in terms of opinion.
Okay.
When it comes to the contracts, it's up to you to decide. Did Atsu truly manipulate Hoyoverse into giving contracts to only people that he liked, or was it truly just a few innocent recommendations and him trying to pitch some...
Well, it doesn't look like from the evidence provided. It's just a list of recommendations, and the final decision is still held in Hoyoverse. But Hoyoverse, how many people did they ask for the recommendation? I guess that's questionable. I would never imagine Hoyoverse would publish any kind of public statement about this drama ever, so we will never know. Is this just a kind of a gathering information of saving Hoyoverse some marketing or trying to research budget? So it saves their time to try to find all of these content creators.
Some cool events involving him and his friends. Up to you completely. But don't decide too quickly because there is more context on the contracts. Atsu says that Braxphone has never been blacklisted from Hoyoverse, and if you just go on his channel and count how many sponsored videos he has with them, it's even possible he has the most out of any creator in the space. Now let's be neutral. Braxophone does always follow FTC guidelines and specifies if an ad is present in his videos.
Okay.
I don't really see any recent videos that fall within that category that are sponsored by Hoyoverse specifically. Anyway, Atsu continues. He argues that Tectone has for the longest time been trying to destroy the livelihoods of creators that have worked closely with Hoyoverse, and wonders how has this become a community that demonizes a creator for being able to work with a game or brand they love and earn a living doing what they love. Saying that Tectone knows he can say whatever he wants about these contracts because the people who signed them can't speak about them because of NDAs.
NDA.
Which are legally binding contracts that don't allow you to speak about anything in your contracts regarding Genshin Impact and many other things in life in general. He then says that Braxophone, if he was truly blacklisted, wouldn't have been invited to the Honkai Star Rail early access server where you have access to characters before they release. This meant that he had a good relationship with Hoyoverse, and references how there was drama revolving around it because Tectone was concerned with the idea that in the contract it's written that you can't release any videos you record on early access before Hoyoverse staff approves it. His main concern was that all of a sudden creators couldn't say anything negative about the character because Hoyoverse was approving the final version. But then it was explained to him that that was not the case. That's pretty much where he stops talking about the contracts in his document. As you can see, the situation itself is pretty messy and has a lot of different perspectives and points of view. Now, if the document had ended there, maybe things would have been different. But this is when it gets controversial, even for supporters of Atsu, because it's when he arguably starts to throw everyone, even his closest friends, under the bus.
Okay.
Many people
What did he say?
As a scorched earth tactic where Atsu pretty much takes everyone down with him. He says that Jake, aka Tuanto, one of his closest friends, threw him under the bus. According to him, Tuanto messaged Braxophone during Phase 2 of the drama saying that there was no hard feelings between them, clarifying it so he can get out of the drama. But Atsu argues that this is simply untrue and that Tuanto had problems with him for a while.
Oh, really?
It seems that Tuwanto had a big problem with Brax for a while after he had doxed his girlfriend Saki when he had posted the group image not knowing that she was a VTuber. And
Okay,
because of
yeah.
this, Atsu believes that Tuwanto contributed to the narrative that he was only pushed away from Braxophone due to Atsu's dislike of him by simply not saying anything. In Braxophone's document, he points to a party in which he wasn't invited but went because a friend told him about it, and the reaction his friend received for inviting him made him think that he was blacklisted by Atsu. It turns out that his friend had received a scolding from Tuwanto, who had created the party, and still disliked Braxophone because, in his opinion, he had doxed his girlfriend.
Okay.
Braxophone's friends didn't specify who scolded them, but they just said they were scolded, which made Braxophone think that it was Atsu.
So Atsu is blaming Toronto?
It turned out to be Tuwanto not wanting him in his
Wow.
party. He then brings up his other close friend, Dish,
Dish?
saying that she contributed to this narrative, that he had manipulated people into staying away from Braxophone, and he believes that her comments are the most damning of all of them. He says he confronted her privately about this, and he didn't feel that she really cared about how much damage she caused him. He thinks that she did all this to save face and protect her public image immediately instead of actually caring about him or defending him.
Okay.
Because in his opinion, there were many outlandish claims in Braxophone's document that she could have refuted, but she chose to gloss over them completely. He's of course referencing this Twitter reply that we already read that was under Braxophone's initial document in Phase 2.
Okay.
She said that she was always confused about Atsu's distrust for Braxophone and that she stopped her investment there, and that she could have fought harder but didn't. Atsu's reasoning here is that in that car ride where Dish kind of said, hey, why are you like distancing yourself from Braxophone? He argued that because the first topic of conversation Braxophone had was about a voice actor being a weirdo around women, it made him very uncomfortable and he just didn't want to talk to him anymore.
Okay.
He then says the voice actor/actress is still active in the community to this date. He has spoken to people in the voice acting community and other creators to get a better idea of what the fuck is going on, but ultimately it's been lots of he said, she says, which made him distance himself from the entire voice acting community as a whole. He still insists that he doesn't want to say who the voice actor or actress is because he wants to let the victims do that first.
Okay.
So again, this is just thrown casually, just like in every document so far, that there is a voice actor for Genshin that is a complete weirdo, but we still don't know who it is, and, well, there's not much we can do about it. Atsu then says that Braxophone had tried to contact him 3 separate times through Hoyover's staff, and that had made him very annoyed, which resulted in him blocking Braxophone on every available form of social media. And then he leaked DMs between him and his trusted circle of friends to show you that he had specified that it's okay for them to be friends with Braxophone and to not let his distrust of him get in the way of doing that. And he also leaked some messages from Tuwanto showing that he did not like Braxophone, or at least had problems with him, back in July of 2023. So it does seem to be more on the recent side. These are all the DMs. You can pause and read them if you wish, but one thing to note is that even though Atsu tells his friends that it's okay to be friends with Braxophone, you can still clearly see him complaining about him. He then says that he's so sad that it had come to this, he can't believe that he had to share private conversations from amongst his own friends just to defend himself because they threw him under the bus.
Okay.
It was necessary. So then he gives a pop quiz to Braxophone saying, hey, I hope you clear up everything with true or false and then provide evidence. It's pretty much what, in Atsu's opinion, Braxophone had pretty much said in his document. Again, you can pause the video to read those, but we'll get to them when Braxophone responds to them anyway. Atsu then concludes that a lot of what he had perceived to be genuine friendships were actually just transactional relationships all along, and it makes him so sad to see it that way now. That he lost so much money taking pay cuts to make things work out and get others involved in cool things, whether that was for Conquest, Hoyoverse events, sponsorships, or other opportunities, and it bothers him that Braxophone even knew about his pay cuts because these should have been between him and staff only. He says that he has protected his friends over and over and over at the expense of his own reputation, and what does he have to show for it? He lost his career, his income, had to lay off his editors, and he doesn't even know who is or isn't his friend in this space anymore, and he lost his marriage. He then says, my life became a complete and utter joke because I chose to prioritize others over myself. The thing is, prioritizing myself and clearing my name at the expense of my friends isn't going to make me feel any better. I fucking hate this. Atsu then ends his statement by saying that he's really gonna miss doing content creation, YouTube, and streaming regularly on Twitch, but hopes that he can come back and do it again at one point. He says he has some apologies to give and some short open letters he wants to write, which he'll leave at the end of the document, which is pretty much where every name of every content creator almost in this space was mentioned, and then ends it by saying an important message, which is, I know some people will be concerned about me because this document might read as a suicide note, but I assure you I'm doing okay. Thank you to those from my community and friends who stuck by me through this entire ordeal. I love you all so very much, more than you could ever know. P.S. If you see me on a dating app, no you didn't. So look, even from a neutral point of view, I do find it unfortunate that this was written here On the 16th page of the document, because again, being completely neutral here, the majority of people did not make it this far, okay? Most people just read the first page if they even opened the document and then just stop at the tweet. And that's where they stopped. You have many, many people worrying about you and hoping that you're not going to end your life anytime soon. So something like this would have been cool to have closer to the first page. But this definitely makes everyone happy that, you know, he's not going to do anything crazy anytime soon, at least in his own words. So now we get to the point of open letters and apologies where everyone
Wow. Everyone's mentioned.
These content creators right here are apologies that he couldn't befriend them, that he couldn't go the extra mile and actually talk to them or give them the time of day. But in a lot of these, there seems to be a recurring trend, either paranoia over them being fake nice to him, or the fact that he saw them speaking with Braxophone or knew they hung out in the same circles as Braxophone and made him paranoid into thinking that Braxophone had somewhat tainted their image of Atsu, of himself.
Okay.
The other half of these creators are people who, in his mind, contributed to his downfall in Phase 2, and he pretty much confronts them over it. There's a lot of people here, but the impact they had on Phase 3 had varying degrees. So let's focus on the ones that actually had a huge impact or even fallout afterwards. One of the people he apologizes to is Brax, saying that he's terrified of the repercussions and fallout that he may face from all this, whether it be from Hoyoverse or Tectone or other drama creators. He wishes that this miscommunication that happened between them initially could have been avoided and that they could have been friends. In another universe, of course. That's what he says. He says to Asmongold, despite your intention being to expose me and label me as a rat, I still appreciate that you tried to remain impartial and that you constantly demanded hard, irrefutable evidence from both Tectone and Braxophone. He then talks about Goose Egg yet again and says that he's found out that since they talked in private, he's gone to Tectone and talked him behind his back. Atsu reiterates that he feels very bad for calling him a discount copy of Tectone back during the Phase 1 of this drama.
Okay.
It isn't his fault that he had to move out of Tectone's house after they had problems, like with the security camera issue. He says that that's not his fault, and that he's disappointed because he thought that he really matured and changed throughout all this. He calls out Mutahar from Some Ordinary Gamers, saying that he doesn't know much about him, but that there was a time when the wave of hatred towards him spiked again, and he discovered that it was coming from him platforming Tectone and covering the Genshin drama. He asks him to please do more research because he has a huge audience and his words have a lot of influence. And then of course he brings up Tectone, in which he also leaks the DMs that had been leaked already in Phase 1. This time revealing that the yes men that he hid in his video showing the DMs were actually Tuanto and Dish. And many people didn't really know that. He says that they've had a lot of ups and downs, but it's only been downs for the last 3 years. He reiterates that he never forced Tectone to reveal DMs with him, and that he still remembers Tectone walking into Goose's room while he was streaming, asking, "Is Atsu gonna leak my DMs?" and Goose saying, "Yes." He says he truly believed Tectone was a good person, loud and obnoxious, but with a good heart nonetheless. But then realized during the Kelsey/gaslighting drama that Tectone wasn't actually good-hearted and that he was someone that Atsu didn't really know. This drama, by the way, is where Tectone was talking with a chatter in his stream, saying that he hates when people use the word gaslighting incorrectly. He then claims that he was always real and honest because he had even called his closest friends Tuanto and Dish yes men towards him. But there's one part that Atsu did not show from the DMs, and it was, according to Tectone, him saying that his therapist and psychiatrists are also yes men, arguing that only he can be honest with him.
Okay, well, if I self-destruct, you can tell me I told you so. That's not the point, Techie. Just let me ask you a question. What does me not wanting to get help from specifically you prevent me from getting better? I don't want you to ever get to that point because you're limiting yourself to an echo chamber of yes men. Who do you think I'm talking to? People that will not check you and have your back regardless of whether you're right or wrong. I'm talking to a psychiatrist and a therapist. Do you think they'll just tell me whatever I want? So let me just show you, this is the guy that I'm not allowed to talk to anybody else. I can't talk to a professional therapist. I can't talk to a professional psychiatrist. The only person I can talk to about my issue is Atsu.
Adds that Tectone has successfully cultivated a community that actively craves and celebrates drama. From his perspective, even after their falling out in 2022, he still cared a lot about him and only saw it as two friends butting heads together. He also shows a DM between him and Rich Campbell, someone who used to be a part of OTK before being accused of SA. But before that happened, Rich had brought Tectone and Dr. K together to have a live therapy session on stream. And here's a DM from Atsu to Rich thanking him for doing that because he felt like it was a good thing for Tectone. The thing to note here is that from Tectone's perspective, this is what happened after the Dr. K session. Even though he enjoyed it, Dr. K specifically told him afterwards that there was nothing wrong with him, even though Tectone for the last 2 years was convinced that something was indeed wrong with him. He felt like Atsu was partly responsible, just like other people telling him to seek therapy because there was something wrong with him, right? And this is Tectone's perspective, of course. Then he ends it with this paragraph saying, I know writing all of this will likely fuel you to keep coming after me for an eternity. I genuinely want nothing but the best for you so long as it doesn't involve you causing so much grief for other people. I hope this will be one of the last times I ever have to address anything regarding you in a public setting. I'm tired of the drama you keep dragging myself and others into. I don't want anything to do with you, and I really thought that was the same for you, but you just can't seem to stop yourself from putting my name in your mouth. You did it though. You completely and utterly destroyed my livelihood and my sanity. What more could you possibly want from me? I really do wonder if you would have felt anything at all had I gone through and succeeded with my suicide attempts.
Oh.
That sentence, of course, is a crazy thing to say because it's implying that Tectone would have been happy if he had ended his life. From Tectone's perspective, on stream, he had said multiple times that he would never want to see Atsu end his life, and he highly advised him to seek therapy ASAP.
Yeah.
But the reason why he might not seem very empathetic is because, in his own words, Atsu has only lived 3 months of what I had to endure for 2 whole years. And if you think about it, they both were in marriages over 10 years long, and they both ended the same way, adultery. They both went through suicidal thoughts. They both went through having their closest friends abandon them over controversy. In Tectone's eyes, this is the highest form of karmic justice. And in Atsu's eyes, he is at the complete lowest point of his life, unable to even think about this. This is how much of a complex issue this is between these two. Two perspectives that are so infinitely different and that will never, ever converge. How will you ever decide on 2 opinions that will remain parallel until the end of time? This is your challenge for this video.
Oh, I'm not taking anyone's side here.
And the fact that he felt that she really threw him under the bus and backstabbed him by not backing him up publicly. And he doubles down and says, I firmly believe that part of your judgment was influenced by a desire to protect your public image. He even adds at the end that she had sent him a 10-minute voice message on the 8th of June. So right before he was going to publish this document, but then says, I apologize, I can't listen to it right now because after 5 seconds, I feel triggered. Then he addresses another friend of his that was in the server with him, Fobmaster, with a more lighthearted tone, saying that he does acknowledge that he likes to sit on the fence during dramas and not take sides, but that does send a mixed message to people, especially when he's associated with him. Then he addresses Tuwanto, saying that he's his best friend and still sees him as his best friend and brother, and then says, it's exactly for this reason I really didn't feel you would ever understand how much I have suffered in order to protect you unless I went through the extreme of publicly addressing you, and that he fears now that he's too lost in the sauce and cares too much about content creation, and that it's starting to affect him. He feels like he's become more cowardly over the past year and that he should be fearless in his choices and beliefs, and that he knows that getting cancelled weighs on his mind heavily. He said that he was very disappointed in him and how he went about the Brax phone drama. He apologizes for this having to come out publicly and says that he'll always love him. Now, as I mentioned, the fact that Atsu had brought the names of so many of the biggest and most relevant content creators in the Hoyoverse game space made this document seem like a nuclear bomb, because it was.
It does.
The biggest bombshell in all this was his statement on Xiox, who is the person who inadvertently kind of served as the trigger for Phase 2, who has literally never, ever participated in any drama, and Atsu had made an irreparable mistake here. This statement on Xiox was so crazy that it was similar to his tweet about Tectone, where people didn't care about the entire tweet, they just cared about the final part where he was subtweeting Braxophone. This was the same thing. I'll read it fully so you can fully understand.
Alright, what is it?
To Nick, Xiox, I've told you this in person, but I feel like you have matured a lot over the past 2 years since meeting you at Anime Expo. You and I are both aware that I have gone out of my way to clean up after you for a certain issue.
What's that certain issue?
I was getting accused by Braxophone, and people behind the scenes were saying I was protecting you over things I was completely unaware of. I was pissed. I told you recently face-to-face in LA that he seemingly had dirt on you, and your reaction to this information was extremely disappointing to me. You repeatedly emphasized how you would never side with me publicly regarding drama, yet you still wanted me to clarify things and relay information to you. It felt like a slap in the face. Is he talking about X? Is he talking about Y? Was it Z? I don't know, and I'm not your messenger, and this was like insult to injury. I already know very well you care deeply about your public image, and you specifically try to avoid all forms of drama, and I never expected you or ever asked you to side with me publicly at all. Your comments were totally unnecessary. I don't want anything to do with whatever skeletons you may or may not have in your closet, and you need to work shit out with Braxphone privately. From my understanding, neither of you have made any efforts to contact each other over it and plan to sweep it under the rug, which is just going to lead to more rumor spreading. I hope this will prompt you guys to communicate and squash whatever this beef is, because I refuse to deal with this or take any form of responsibility for it later down the line. I'm sorry for the grief this might cause you, but I am genuinely sick of getting dragged for other people's problems. Likewise to Tuanto, I feel like you're also getting lost in the sauce and starting to go down a path of cowardice, bending over backwards for the masses. I want to see you grow and succeed, and I also want to go back to the days where you, Xlice, Zaj, and I could just chill playing OSRS, but that's never going to happen if I just kept keeping this to myself. I know you likely won't approve of the way I went about this or see eye to eye with me on it, and I apologize for that. This statement framed it like Ziox had committed a crime, like he had covered up something extremely serious, trying to hide it under the rug. The way this is written confused so many people, and because they were already tired of the whole Braxophone, Tectone, Atsu drama, all of a sudden people who usually weren't even involved in the drama were, because Ziox being involved in something that could equate to a crime is insane. Someone who always avoids drama and only acts silly 24/7? What? All these things combined that you've seen so far have made this document so powerful, to the point where everyone, even people who don't usually delve into drama, had to somewhat say something about it. Regardless, after making the document, Atsu had this to say on his alt: I'm doing okay, I made a late dinner and just did some exercise, I've received an immense outpouring of love and I really appreciate it, I'm feeling way more emotional than I expected, so I will be postponing my stream till after I wake up later today. So around a day after posting the document, Atsu went live to a stream on Twitch with over 6,000 concurrent viewers, but everyone truly just wanted to know, what was he saying about Ziox? What is he trying to say? What happened? What is he covering up? Did he assault someone? Is he evil? So around the 2-hour 30 mark in the VOD, he finally gets to it. This is what he had to say.
What is it?
Nick, from my understanding, has not sexually assaulted someone. That's not what I'm referring to. This passage here, which does not mention sexual assault, is about Nick. But Nick has not, from my understanding, sexually assaulted someone.
What?
That is, I want to make that very, very clear.
What does that mean?
These skeletons are, though, I don't want any business with it. That's between Nick and Braxophone. And from my understanding, they've talked it out. I don't know whether they've quashed it, but I spoke to Braxophone this morning, and he told me he spoke to Nick already. I counted how many times he had to re-explain this to his stream. It was 4 times.
What?
This was one of the first times he was explaining what happened with Ziox, and unfortunately, it was so badly phrased that some people watching genuinely thought that Ziox had done something of extreme harm. My understanding, Nick had invited certain girls to this Airbnb behind my back without my knowledge.
Okay.
That's as far as I know as what has happened. And like, they were all doing like stuff with alcohol, and I've touched on this before. I don't drink alcohol. I'm not involved with anything related to do with alcohol, and I remove myself from those spaces. So I have no idea what the is going on here. I have no idea what he's talking about.
Okay.
And I don't know how much of this is true or how much of this is people trying to stir shit, because I have been told now by Brax who these other certain people are yapping about this. And like, these are people who don't like me either, by the way. The other people yapping about this, I know for a fact, do not like me. My personal opinion of them are they are clout chasers. So I don't know how much of what I've been told is true. And I don't want any business regarding Nick or Brax.
Then why would you say it? What the hell?
So of course, him saying that it involved multiple girls and alcohol kind of insinuated the fact that it was way more serious than it actually is. So this stream didn't particularly help in terms of...
Yeah, it just confuses me just even more.
Said that both Braxophone and Ziox had not quashed the beef, but they did. He was just told that this morning. So while everyone was running like headless chickens thinking that Ziox had committed a crime, Chris then comes out to tweet this, quote tweeting Atsu's tweet saying, I'm going to say this once and I'm going to say this really clear. We ended this casually and respectfully. I never brought your name up ever again on my stream unless it was in a good light, and said that I hope you recover and do well, and that I genuinely am glad we could squash all our beef. Now I'm getting called two-faced, and we're double backing on all that we apparently handled together, and you thought that I seriously matured. For your information, I have matured, but you clearly have not. I wish you no ill will, and suicide and adultery is no joke, and I would never wish that upon anybody, especially when I have gone through both. But do me a favor, and if you're going to spread misinformation on the internet again, after everything you did to me in the past and completely destroyed my streaming mental and career to this day, and I can't still feel right streaming after all that happened to me, please keep my name out of your fucking mouth. Don't take others down with you when you fall the hardest. Goose, the discount version of Tecton. I also want to make clear, after all this, I still forgave him, and this is what I get in return. So that happened, but again, everyone was truly just waiting on one thing and one thing in particular, which is what did Ziox do?
Yeah, what does
So all of a
Ziox
sudden you
do?
had Glitter, who is
Who's Glitter?
Ziox's friend, girlfriend, acquaintance, roommate. I have no idea, but they're just always seen together. Tweet, "Oh, so we're lying now." To which Ziox replies with lyrics from Kendrick Lamar's Euphoria that say, "But don't tell no lie about me and I won't tell truths about you," indicating that what Asu was saying was a lie. He was pretty much taking it out of proportion.
Okay.
Most people were unsatisfied. They wanted an actual response to this because the allegations were seen as that serious. Braxophone then the day afterwards tweets, "Please stop lying about me. All of this goes against what we spoke about one-on-one," referencing the dinner he had with Atsu in April.
Okay.
"I felt gaslit and betrayed. I'm sorry about what happened, but I'm not to blame. I really wanted to be done with this and I was ready to let you post everything you felt and not argue with you so that you would get closure. But you have lied about me and the conclusions we came together. Your mental health should not come at the cost of others. I privated the initial document at your request to get people off your back. Seeing you use it now as ammunition again also really fucking sucks." So he was talking about how the document he had initially written about Atsu was privated because Atsu had asked him to do so. But as you can see right here,
Now it's
Atsu had
public
saved
again.
it and was reading it out on stream for a little while.
Wow.
So here's Braxophone's document. This one is 6 pages long. These are all the statements, 14 of them, that Atsu had in his final document. So Braxophone answered every single one with true or false, and giving what he thought about them. First one being, Atsu has the power to blacklist creators from working with Hoyoverse. I cannot prove it. Atsu has the power to give contracts to creators working with Hoyoverse. No proof it happened for me specifically. Looking at screenshots from Atsu's own document, it looks possible a year ago plus. Atsu spreads hate of Braxophone to other creators and industry professionals, literally done in the screenshots shared by Atsu. Atsu discriminates against white male creators. Deleted this from my doc early on. I had connected some dots with me, Tectone, Brand, Doro, and Goose, all not ever being reached out to when an effort was made for other creators. It was removed within an hour because I realized I was wrong for posting that, and clearly that wasn't the issue. This was something that Braxophone had posted in his initial document against Atsu back in Phase 2, but he removed it fairly quickly afterwards. Atsu only games with people who are bigger streamers in his immediate friend circle, or specifically a woman. Certainly seems this way with big streamers at least, can't speak to it currently. Atsu befriended creators such as Ant, Dish, Tuanto, Lily Pichu to use them and grow. I don't know all your history. From what you've told me, I no longer believe this. Atsu had privately warned Tectone about Braxophone. This is true. Atsu blacklisted or had Braxophone uninvited from parties. This was Jake, not Atsu, so Tuanto.
Okay, Tuanto.
Atsu brought people back for a photo to specifically exclude Braxophone at an OTV party. This is true. Atsu is silencing people to protect Ziox from undisclosed incidents. This is not true. He is not silencing anyone. Atsu is covering up a sexual assault. I don't know where this came from. No. Braxophone warned Atsu about a Genshin voice actor/actress at OTV party. I did as I was asked to by another voice actor the same day to warn other creators who have collabed or might collab with them. Braxophone contacted 3 different Hoyoverse staff regarding Atsu. I only remember contacting 2. One was me venting about feeling specifically isolated by that clique, and they took it upon themselves to reach out. The second was in an attempt to contact Atsu. Braxophone knew about the pay cuts Atsu was taking for other creators from Hoyo staff, yes. So then Braxophone decided to come up with his own pop quiz specifically made for Atsu, and asked him 14 true or false questions. The first one being, one of your closest friends lives with a Hoyoverse staff member. Multiple requests from Hoyoverse to give suggestions on which content creators would be good to work with. You have a private Discord where you joked about me, to and with your friends. Not getting an invite to Jake's party is not the sole reason for my document. You made it known to friends that you prefer I do not attend events you're at. Posting sponsored videos does not mean that a creator has signed a long-term contract. You and or some of your friends were on the long-term Hoyoverse contract sometime within the past 2 years. Breaching NDA can have dire consequences. Sometimes NDAs can state that you are not allowed to disclose that you had an NDA or that the NDA exists, with the caveat that it can be disclosed under a court order or other methods.
Jesus Christ, these are so technical.
Sometimes one may need to deny that they got a contract to avoid hundreds of thousands of dollars in repercussions. Your mental health is neither my fault nor my responsibility. Your fallen viewership in Genshin Impact directly correlates with the game's overall viewership and not my document. You lied to your audience about the conclusions we reached in person pertaining to this drama in order to make yourself seem more like a victim. You betrayed my trust and dragged my name through the dirt after I was open and honest with you about everything, even confiding in you as you did me, despite our long talks and discussions about everything, working together to find solutions.
Oh my god.
Giving a score at the end, something out of 14.
Answer key as well.
What exactly is wrong and right? And as you can see here, according to Braxophone, everything is true. Now, as I mentioned, Atsu was streaming around this time, and while he was streaming, Brax released his document. So he went through the entire pop quiz and answered it. Here's what he came up with. The third, fifth, and last question were not answered with a true or false. Instead, he argued about it, so I don't know exactly what his final score was. But
Okay, oh wow, that's interesting.
then in Bragg's phone statement, he makes sure to say, before I say anything else, I'm truly sorry for what has happened. No matter what has happened between us, I'm grateful that you are alive. Then says, I'm not going to sit here and act like everything in my initial document is true, but I will say that I'm genuinely sad because I felt like we had worked everything out. But your newest document broke the trust I had in you from our more recent discussions. Because it basically shirks any and all responsibility from you onto me and paints me into a villain that's ruined your career and life. He then says that he believes that ever since he made the Atsu document in Phase 2, Hoyoverse has made more of a concentrated effort to reach out to a wider variety of creators and get creators more involved than before. He doesn't know if these things are correlated, but appreciates it nonetheless. And then gives examples of things that don't make sense to him, the community, and other creators.
Okay.
He's referencing the first question that even Atsu agreed with, in which he says that a Hoyoverse staff member actually shares a home with Tuanto, the biggest Genshin Impact creator, as well as some other content creators, and how they seem to get a lot more priority than other creators at least.
Still here to share Nintendo Direct stuff. I see.
It's up to you.
They did broadcast a new Nintendo Direct, but I didn't have any game that is interested in me.
He says that's bullshit. It's honestly hurtful that people are willing to ignore the years of being ostracized, ignored, and being shit.
Damn, this video is long.
Circle of people. I did make one mistake in assuming everything was Atsu's fault specifically, but that doesn't change these things. You did talk to other people.
What, really? Yeah. I guess that really just means I'm not a Nintendo fan. I mean, they announced a Mario game, didn't they? They announced the Dragon Quest. Well, if you haven't watched it, I'm sorry if I spoiled it for you. Have you seen it already, Tomato?
Ostracized me, and
you need to watch it again? Nah, none of the game actually interests me. The final one, they I think they teased about the Metroid, isn't it? I'm not a fan of Metroid. They announced a Mario game. Yeah, they did. And I was not interested. I was never a Mario fan. I'm never a Mario fan. Mario is big, but it's not for everyone. And I'm that, not a fan of Mario. I can play it. I can find myself having a mood for Mario game, but I would not be playing Mario game actively if there is a new one coming out. They announced 3, did they? Can't remember what's the other ones they were. 4 if you counted Donkey Kong. Okay, yeah.
You specifically did not like me and made it clear to your friends. He then references the leaked DMs of Atsu, saying, I know you specifically said, I hope people do not feel obligated to avoid people for my sake, but when you go into a Discord server full of influencers who are at the forefront of our specific space and mention that you specifically do not like me and proceed to talk shit with a group of people and laugh at me, don't you think that might have consequences?
Party, Mario and Luigi. Luigi mentioned 2 HD. Wow.
Already spoke on that and apologized. Then he says that he hopes that
yeah, I was never a fan of any of these games. I play it occasionally, probably once or twice a year. If I run into a friend who owns the game and try it out, I wouldn't. For Mario and Nintendo games, it's just not enough drive and motivation for me to enjoy every single part of the game or 100% it, etc. I'm quite a completionist, and beating all of the levels from Mario just does not feel the level of satisfaction. It feels more like a chore. And a chore is not something you would enjoy, don't you?
Atsu feels better getting everything off his chest genuinely, saying that he wouldn't want someone to lose their life over this, he wouldn't want Atsu to hurt himself over this, and that he does, even after the fact, wish him the best and hopes for the best when it comes to him and his life, even though his documents and subtweets and malicious rumors have done irreparable damage to his career, his friendships, and his mental health for years. Braxophone is truly sorry that so much has happened to Atsu, and as he mentioned in his first document, he would have taken it straight to him if he wasn't blocked from contacting him on every avenue. He then specifies something completely unrelated, saying also free Palestine, all eyes on Rafah, anyone who thinks otherwise, because for whatever reason, after Atsu's document, people were calling him many names, including Zionist, so he felt the need to clarify.
Oh, Zionist.
A final statement to Tuanto, yet again reiterating that he didn't know Saki was a VTuber, he was told that she was a nobody, and that he hopes he's not painted as a villain anymore over this. So to Braxophone, he had to go through 2 years of suffering thinking that he was the problem and that people just didn't like him due to him being awkward and weird. From Atsu's perspective, he already had a lot of friends in the space and didn't need to add one more.
You know what? This entire drama can be avoided, and you may ask how. Take example of our current celebrities, actors, or even big sports players. How do they avoid these dramas? They focusing on their career and they have their managers and they do not interact with their, let's say, fans or public, like whenever they are working, let's say. So actors, they act, they produce movies, they work with directors or any other movie staff. They are not acting and at the same time reading the chat or live streaming their acting filming, right? So, and they don't even need to tell them, doesn't have any obligation trying to make themselves famous by collaborating with other actors or getting films. There is many other process of them getting the work, the job, and there is their own way. They have their own way to making connection and do networking, and all of these has been evolved, and all of the content creators like Twitch streamers, YouTubers, whatever, gamers, cosplayers, they were essentially celebrity but normal people. It's a hybrid between celebrity and the normal people, so you are kind of like half and half. And I mean, in many cases, normal people do not know how to handle these because they don't have a manager, they don't have a management system, they are not educated, they are not used to all of these exposures, publicities, anything. For me, I enjoy playing games. I enjoy talking about the things I like. That's it. And how to handle, I don't know, if I have 1,000 or millions of fans, how do I handle them? If they're in the chat, I would have absolutely no idea. I have to learn as I grow and progress as a content creator. I feel like if you have 1,000, different YouTubers, Twitch streamers, their individual journey, are very different. They may have some similarities, and the way they deal with all of these dramas, etc., will be very unique and different to them as it is. And what we're seeing here are just different ways clashes, and they do not work out between content creators. As simple as that. And all of these things they said on Twitters, they should not be public. They should never be published, and these dramas should stay with them and amongst their friends and private. They should never even be posted on the internet, or they should post it anonymously. They should never use their content creator name to publish such things.
Or that caused him to be uncomfortable. Again, they both have their perspectives and they both have their beliefs. And it's clear they both didn't really want it to go this far, but it did. And here we are today. Tuanto on that same day also comes out with a video called My Response, in which he pretty much states that yes, he was very scared by including himself in the drama. He's always been scared. He apologizes directly to Atsu for not having his back publicly during the phase 2 of this drama, and that he hopes that they can stay friends.
Okay.
Dish then comes out with her own tweet saying, I would rather not do this, but since private messages from our circle of trust have been aired out, I now need to show you some things to clear up Atsu's accusations against me. This is a horrible situation all around, and I just want to get this part over with. So that Atsu kicked out everyone from the Bozo server that they had, all their circle of friends, and she saw it coming, so she took a bunch of screenshots of their messages in case he decided to breach their trust.
Okay.
It's a long thread. I can sum this up pretty quickly. Dish argues that she was there for Atsu during the whole way, and even warned him that she was going to make a post apologizing to Brax because she felt very bad towards him. Had calls, had messages, she was there for him, they all cried together, etc., etc. But she felt heartbroken that he had leaked the messages, that it has come to this, and that she holds no anger towards him, just hopes that he can find happiness and peace one day. Atsu, even though he said he was getting off the internet and won't tweet anymore, just to quote
Came back.
and reiterates that even though a lot of things happened behind the scenes where she tried her best to support him, he still felt that when it came to her actions in public, he felt backstabbed and that she made him look worse, like he was in the wrong.
Okay.
She could have come out and actually supported him. Dish then replies to this post and says, "It is clear that we are never going to reach an understanding of all that happened or the motives behind each decision. I'm no longer going to try to reason with you. You are beyond reasoning with. It's so heartbreaking that it has come to this, but I am moving on."
Okay.
So here Atsu felt really hurt by one of his close friends because they weren't fully in support of him in phase 2. Dish, on the other hand, feels like she did what she felt was right. But she also got backlash for it because she's known as the very wholesome and friendly streamer / content creator.
Yeah.
Even during phase 2, some people started to see her differently.
Oh.
Her public image definitely did not remain flawless. With this altercation they had on Twitter and her final reply to him, Atsu looked even worse because now even his close friends were indirectly saying that this guy is beyond hope. Was she right? Was he right?
Yeah.
Or were they both just bad
I don't
friends?
know.
Who knows?
Who
It's
knows?
completely up to you to decide. You know how it works.
Oh
but
man, I don't want to make a
at this
decision
point, what
here.
everyone really wanted to know was what the hell did Ziox do?
All right.
So he finally goes live after a couple of days to address everything. He says that first off, he's fully aware that Atsu is going through a very emotional and tough period in his life right now.
Okay.
And he bears no ill will towards him. However, the way he wrote this was ridiculous.
Okay.
especially for something that happened.
Yeah,
according
it's
to Ziox
very,
2
very
years ago.
vague.
It caused him a lot of issues for no reason, and it could have been worded way better. Ziox says that this is about 2 different incidents on 2 separate occasions.
Oh wow.
The first one being the Airbnb that Atsu had mentioned on stream.
Mhm.
Ziox had a friend, let's call them X, and they came with a group of friends to a party that Atsu had organized.
Oh.
X then leaves with their friend group, wanting to get dinner, and said that they'll be back later. They come back later, but X's friends were all drunk.
Okay.
X's friends then walk into a room where everyone was sleeping, waking them up, which makes X and their friends get kicked out. Ziox felt really bad for X and kept trying to apologize because he didn't want them to feel like it was X's fault.
Okay.
And the other incident, let's say it happened with Y, was one involving alcohol, and it was Y was felt pressure to drink during a party by Ziox. They
Okay.
stayed there for around 2 hours, then left, and Ziox tried his best to clear things up, then apologize to them, and apparently they're doing well. They don't have any bad feelings towards Ziox. Of course, he didn't show any DMs, he didn't show any evidence or whatever, because he argues that he doesn't want to just so casually show DMs with people like everyone else is doing, and just keep everything private.
Yep.
So this made what Atsu said definitely seem extremely exaggerated. And again, as
Okay.
I mentioned in phase 2, when you have a huge document, it doesn't matter how well it's written, as soon as there's one hole in it,
Yeah,
just
there is a one hole.
consistency, it is enough to bring down the entire
Ooh,
thing. This was
yeah,
such
the
a
reliability is gone.
inconsistency that many people started to doubt the entire document. in
Okay,
itself.
yeah.
Ziox's community is one of the strongest communities in Genshin Impact, and they typically are not involved in drama. As you can see right here in the chat, people are like, "What? That's it?" As he's explaining it, that's it. There's skeletons in the closet. There's
Yeah.
no way. So it made them turn on Atsu. And
Okay.
all of a sudden, the document was truly seeming like Atsu had fallen and was trying to take down as many people as he can with it.
Yeah, it does look like that
Phase
way.
seems to have officially ended for now when Atsu tweeted this: "Y'all right, it's time to log off. I've said my piece and it's time to move on to healthier environments. Bridges have been burned and it is what it is. I'm deeply saddened and indeed in an emotional state. I'm sorry it dragged on for so long. Wave." And as you can see from the replies, it's definitely not one-sided. Many people have different perspectives on this, and Atsu was most definitely not seen as perfect here.
Yeah.
Everyone's hoping that this is the end of this drama that is
But is this the end?
2 years now. But Tectone has expressed in his own words that he has 3 separate DMs with Atsu where it proves that he is a terrible person, even more so than he thinks he's already proven. Those 3 DMs are with 3 separate people. The
Okay.
reason why he hasn't released it now is because, again, in his own words, he's not a monster. He sees that Atsu is down, he doesn't want to bring him down further. He'll only release these DMs if Atsu crosses a line. And that line is the same line that Enviosity has already crossed with Tectone, mentioning partners, roommates,
Okay.
friends, family. Asmongold was asked about the Phase 3 drama and his opinions, and he said that without a shadow of a doubt, he believes that Atsu is in the wrong because of these DMs that Tectone has shown him. So is this truly going to be the end? I hope so.
Oh.
Breaking neutrality here to say I hope so. But one thing is certain, Atsu and Tectone are not going to be friends anytime soon.
Mhm.
This rivalry has dragged the entire Genshin and Honkai Star Rail community to war, sometimes even against their will. I don't know what any conclusion you might have reached after the end of this video, but it's your choice and your choice completely. Make it so that you can finally move on and not care about this.
Alright, I think since we mentioned about conclusions, I think the conclusions are very simple. Just don't get to use this as a lesson for life, for content creating, or any kind of situation. Avoid the drama and make sure you are given as precise information as possible. Talk to each other privately, and if something doesn't work out, if you talk to each other privately, get somebody else to be a middleman. Let them get a reliable person, your parents, I don't know, your boss, whoever is a little bit more experienced than you, to make things, trying to resolve things between you and the second party. Um, well, that's my conclusion. I'm not signing with any one of these, Tecton nor Atsui, because I know nothing other than this video, the way they narrated this entire drama.
In the end, even though Tecton might see himself as the winner, I think that everyone involved has lost.
Yeah, everyone's a loser in this drama.
At the beginning, Goose, Atsu, and Tecton have all experienced adultery, had suicidal thoughts, and felt like they lost their livelihood, their friends, their reason to live. One can't help but ask the question, could this have been avoided? Who knows? I just hope that we can avoid.
I think this can be avoided.
This drama actually hurt them.
Just immature in terms of wanted attention by bringing things over the public and the social media. This might be the result of bringing some negativities and anonymous, kind of. It's not anonymous, but bringing negativities into the public social medias, and when you are a big influencers, always result in terrible conclusions. I think that's the lesson I'm going to take from here.
Themselves. And that's it. That's pretty much the entire drama from start.
It's not criticism, but rather just
ironically watched until the end. You're actually insane.
Yeah, I'm insane.
Ridiculous I've ever worked on, so I really appreciate it.
Damn.
I'll be addressing why I'm in Atsu's document, but I'll be biased because, of course, I'm talking about myself. Duh. So if you've already made up your opinion and don't want to be influenced by mine, then hey, thanks for watching.
Okay.
Let's do this. All right, so I could not care less about this drama in the beginning of Phase 2. As I stated in my video, it would have been a stalemate just like Phase 1. Tecton versus Atsu would have ended the exact same way, whether it be Phase 1 or Phase 2. But when Braxophone got involved, things changed for me. In my experience, he's only ever been a nice guy, willing to talk and give advice without expecting anything in return. There are many people who have like sub 1,000 subscribers on YouTube who have DM'd him, he responded, and he gave them the same advice he would give someone with 100,000 or 1 million subscribers. So when he came out with his document against Atsu and detailed how much he has been suffering the last 2 years, feeling ostracized and excluded from the community, thinking that it's his fault, that he's the weirdo.
Okay.
And when he showed the DMs he had with Atsu, where Atsu pretty much spoke to him like a pest, like an insect, like keep you at arm's length, and I don't even trust you enough to tell you why. This resonated with me on a personal level. I moved a lot throughout my life, and I made a lot of friends every time.
Okay.
But in one instance, I did have to deal with bullies.
Oh.
This felt like the same thing. Atsu to me was being a bully. In Atsu's initial response to Braxophone's document, it didn't really help his case in my eyes. It showed an Atsu that we're not used to seeing. Someone very angry, hot-headed, and not careful with their words, as he is usually. And when he slipped up on stream with the whole photo incident, being so confident that he had used a different picture, even though he didn't, and had photoshopped Brax out of existence, this is where I made up my mind. So at this point, Box2, a Honkai Star Rail creator that I find really funny, quote tweeted the meme video that took the clip of Atsu saying, "It's not the same photo," from his stream. He said, "Yeah, Atsu needs to go." I said, "That's actually insane, man. Brax was literally there just trying to make friends. And they took another pic without him, but decided to use this one and Photoshop him out anyway. LMAO, this is so bad. Wow." And I mean, it's self-explanatory, right? This looks bad no matter how you look at it, in my opinion, of course. This was included during Phase 2 in Atsu's final document. Atsu says this: people started implying this blue-haired VTuber was Saki and that I maliciously only removed Brax from this photo and then posted it after the party. This is literally a content creator with over 100,000 subscribers spinning this exact bogus narrative. And there I am, ya boy. He argues that the reason he did this wasn't because he hated Braxophone, but because this was one of the only pictures he took where his wife was there, and he wanted to use that for conquest. Okay, cool. But I still don't see where I'm wrong. You literally did what I said you did, regardless of whether you wanted your wife in there or not. This was the only picture you took with Brax, and he was photoshopped out, regardless if you're using it for marketing or not. This is the point I'm making. It looks bad.
Yeah,
And
it
you
looks
made
bad.
look very bad because of your response on stream, and that's not my fault. Also, for someone who claimed that they stayed away from Braxophone because he kept talking about numbers, it's funny how the only thing you point out about me is my sub count. This isn't the only thing I did during Phase 2, though. I didn't show this tweet from Atsu.
That's another thing I want to point it out. The only people who said about, people are cloud after cloud or chasing only after the content creator has a big numbers, I think that type of people who talk about numbers are the people who truly only care about the numbers. So Atsu is basically talking about himself. He only cares about the numbers, and he collaborates with people who is having enough decent number of subscribers. I mean, as a small content creator, I can definitely relate. If I found somebody who is having more subscribers or follower than me that come and talk to me, I would give them back a follow, and in the hope of getting a little bit shared community happening here and there. So I can definitely relate. And okay, that's it. That's all I want to say.
In my video because, frankly, it didn't really hold that much importance. But he said that he'd be deleting all his tweets regarding Braxophone and Tectone because it was implicating too many people and dragging them in. But then he ended his tweet with, I believe Braxophone and I are going to have a private discussion whenever he feels comfortable to do so. See, from my point of view, at this point, I thought to myself, like, it's way too late for that, buddy. Braxophone had already made an effort to contact you and ask if there was anything wrong between you two, and you treated him like an insect. You then ignored him, he tried to reach you through other means, you blocked him everywhere. So only now, when you were getting backlash, when you were getting problems, you decided to have the private discussion with him after 2 years of making him feel like there was something wrong with him?
Yeah, it's a little bit one-sided, isn't it?
Maybe I went a bit too far. I did end up triple ratioing him, and I said this: I think you should just leave the Genshin community for good and never come back. The irreparable harm and trauma that you have caused to countless people over the last 3 years has taken away any of your talking it out privately privileges. Time to go to bed, Grandpa. See ya.
Oof.
I don't really regret tweeting this. Look, at a certain point, you can be a fence sitter for all your life, have a cool career with no downsides, but at the same time, when someone is being wronged, hell, if I'm being wronged, I'd like to think that the people I know would at least step in for me. I saw
Have I ever seen Atsu be apologetic? Did he ever apologize to anything he did wrong? I don't think I have seen that. If I'm wrong, well, point it out. Give me the timestamp. He actually apologized in many things.
Braxophone, who has treated me with kindness the whole time, and I felt like he was being wronged. So that's when I decided to step in, even though, yes, it did risk the way people viewed me, it did risk my brand, etc. Because I'd like to think people would do the same for me if I get wronged by someone bigger than me, like Atsu. This is my reasoning, and I still stand by it today. So in his Phase 3 document, I get mentioned 3 times. The first one is here. Atsu says, I provided 55 pages of evidence and contextualization, but this arrived far too late, as the narrative had already been spun and set in stone by Tectone, as well as other creators looking to get involved like Box2, Gotchasmack, Mr. Pokey, Mtashed, Mujin, the list goes on and on. Again, I still don't see the disinformation I contributed to, but maybe I'm just biased because we're talking about myself. I mentioned a second time when he lists the alphabetical order of people mentioned at the end, and then I mentioned in this paragraph. He says, Temujin, we've never interacted, and my only knowledge of you is that you're a drama-focused creator. Like most to others, I don't think you had it as an intention to cause shit for me. But you also made several comments and remarks that caused me grief. The way you went about it was quite childish as well, and I hope you realize you also had a lot of influence. If you're going to cover so much drama, I'd also hope you go above and beyond to get all the facts properly. Otherwise, you're just milking speculation and causing hurt for so many people. There's not much more to say than that.
Well, I think Mujin did exactly what he said. He went above and beyond and made this 2 hours and 30 minutes video about this entire drama based on
or anything. This is why in the beginning of the video I said, like, it's fairly irrelevant. You could read the whole document without reading this, and you're not missing out on much.
Yeah.
Look, I do try my best when I cover drama to get all the facts straight and not go based off of speculation. And if I do, I specify it. My role in this drama in Phase 2 was just me standing up for what I thought was right. I saw someone who had suffered for 2 years and attributed their suffering to the way Atsu treated him, and the rest was history. But my role was definitely still minimal. I could have done way more, but, I felt like one ratio was enough. Now, what's my response to Atsu? Well, it's simple. My only hope for you is that one day you can look at yourself in the mirror, straight into your own eyes, and think, man, I'm so glad that the 3 attempts I made on my life never came to fruition, because then I would have never been able to experience the happiness I'm experiencing today. I know it seems impossible right now, but I'm sure that you'll heal someday. Look, regardless whether you're right or wrong, this drama must have put 1 ton on your shoulders.
Yeah.
And the fact that your wife had cheated on you must have put another ton at the same time. It's not easy, and I can empathize. Even though you're still adamant that you're not wrong and that you haven't really done anything to warrant all this hate, I still hope that you've learned a few things. Things that will ensure that no matter who you interact with in the future, they'll always feel like you were nothing but nice to them and treated them like a person. That's all, really. Now, to address the elephant in the room. You might be thinking, okay, well, if you felt that way about Atsu, how can I trust you to be neutral in this video? Well, by Phase 3, I couldn't care less. I genuinely don't care who comes out on top, who quote-unquote loses. I don't care. I don't want to see this on my feed anymore, which is why I made this video, so that everyone can get caught up to this drama and move on once they realize how stupid it is. And I hope I can somewhat influence that with this video.
Okay.
It surely isn't worth someone losing their life over it.
Yeah,
So let's
agree.
end it here, please. Thank you so much for watching this video. Yes, I recorded and edited the entire thing myself.
Wow.
I, quite frankly, need a vacation. I'll see you in the next video, whenever that might be. I love you so much, and you're the best. Mwah.
Man, shout out to Mujin. He made so much work. I just can't imagine how much work you have to put in to this research about the uncoverable drama and made a 2 hour and 30 minutes video about it. Damn. I think that definitely deserve a subscribe, right? Yep. Let me leave some comment. I watched it was amazing drama, and I can't imagine how much work you have put it in. It was an amazing story, and I can definitely see you went was it beyond, above creating this video. Wow, wow, wow. 2 hours and 30 minutes. Man, this entire drama took like went through 2 years ever since, I guess, Genshin Impact was launched during 2000, was it 2020? 2020. And the beef or the drama between Artsu and the Tecton has elevated and involved many, many other content creators and sparked countless drama. I think Mujin did a very good job. He kind of categorized into 5 or 4 or 5 different chapters, 3 different phases of the drama. And I mean, at the end, I cannot truly say how well done this video is. And I can't really take a side on any one of these, characters or person who came up in this drama. I'm sure we have all learned a lesson after watching this video. If you're watching the mod from the VOD, well, I hope you learned something new. But that's it for me for today. I'm exhausted. My brain is dead after processing all of these huge amount of information. At the end, it has nothing to do. It almost has nothing to do. The drama has nothing to do with Genshin. Um, it's just sparked and originated from the game Genshin Impact and the Genshin Impact content creators. Oh, but my fault. Hoyoverse, the company created the Genshin Impact, also got involved in this drama. I'm kind of curious what kind of news coverage is actually is China. They were never going to cover these kind of negative news. I was just about to say I was curious how is the Chinese side of a social media or the news going to cover this story. I don't think they will ever report this kind of a drama over in Chinese social media. I doubt that they will cover this story. But if you are Chinese, if you are watching this video and you know about drama, make sure maybe make this aware, over to China. This is definitely some kind of problems. Hoyoverse should, learn the lesson as well. All right, I think I have said everything I wanted to say. Chinese social media gets censored. Yeah, I know. But there are still, if it's nothing to do with politics or too bad, I'm sure they are able to cover this story in a much, let's say, censor safe way. All right, that's it from me. And if you're still watching, wow, thank you very much. And let me know down in the comment section below if you're from YouTube, what do you think about the drama? And I may or may not read your comment. Who knows? All right, have a good night. You mean general? Nah, I think the Chinese heavily censor things, but most things they censor are politics topics. They don't censor everything. Like pornography, there's definitely something they censor. Politics and anything with to do with, let's say, the government's dirty works or bad rumors. Have a good one, though. Yeah, have a good one tomorrow. I wish you have a good night. See you guys next time. Bye bye.